Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Army Drill Team. In 1957, the Old Guard selected the Army's finest soldiers to concentrate on precise marching and crisp rifle drill, skills that symbolize military discipline and pride in soldiering. Though the original members are long gone, the rigid standards they established remain unchanged. Through performances across the nation and abroad, the group has earned an international reputation as the world's leading drill team. The group's members use a 1903 Springfield rifle, 40 inches long, weighing 10.5 pounds, and fixed with a sharp chrome-plated bayonet. They constantly strive for manual perfection and are justifiably proud as members of this elite unit. Ladies and gentlemen, First Lieutenant Malcolm Schaefer, the commander of the United States Army Drill Team. And now the drill team features 4 of its senior members in a unique exhibition of synchronized rifle drill. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Army Drill Team soloists. The drill team concludes this performance with its most dangerous and difficult maneuver. Each soldier in the front rank will toss his weapon approximately 15 feet into the air and to the rear. Each weapon will make 2 complete revolutions before being caught. Ladies and gentlemen, the daring front-to-rear overhead rifle toss. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the United States Army Drill Team.
And welcome back. Welcome to Dearborn's 69th Annual Memorial Day Parade. We've been watching the 3rd Infantry Old Guard and U.S. Army Drill Team, and they are magnificent.
Oh, they're excellent, and particularly with the weather here. The wind could throw you off, and you've got moisture on the pieces there, so it's a little bit dangerous to do that. By the way, the guy that's announcing must have been an ex-disc jockey. The drill team.
He's very good at it.
They're very good, actually.
Yes. We are live at the corner of Michigan and Schaefer. We started out about a half an hour ago in the rain. There were not very many people here. The rain is tapering off, I think, and people are arriving. So if you're at home wondering whether you should come out, if you feel up to it, do indeed. It's an exciting day here in Dearborn, Michigan, as we celebrate Memorial Day. Russ, this is the 69th annual parade. We will have more than 3,000 marchers. We will have about 16 musical groups ranging from bagpipers to 8 different bands. The Shriner groups will be here performing, and the governor will be leading off the parade. In fact, we saw him just a few minutes ago.
Sneaking in the back door.
Right. He was kind of arriving and watching some of the performance by the drill team, but they will be taking him back to the start of the parade, and he'll be walking with the other dignitaries and officials. This, of course, is always touted as one of the country's largest Memorial Day parades. We are going to go to a break, and when we return, we will have probably the flyover for you at 10 o'clock.
maybe we'll see him.
We'll be right back.
Dearborn Federal Savings Bank, your community bank, has it all. Experience, expertise, reputation, and the strongest starting lineup in the community. Leading off and always making the right play, and accounting for all the new players who move into the lineup. The power hitters, the people you can trust to match the right loan with your needs. And the manager, the leader of the championship team, Bill White, serving Dearborn and Dearborn Heights since 1936. Dearborn Federal Savings Bank makes everyone in our community a winner.
Formal, fashionable, fantastic. They've got it all at Brothers Formal Wear. Colorful or conservative, topper or tails, you can get fit and fabulous for your wedding day, graduation day, or any special day. Brothers Formal Wear on Michigan Avenue across from Jacobson's in West Dearborn. And our factory outlet in Wayne. Formal affair for bridal accessories at 40 to 60% off. If you're having a wedding or need a bridal shower gift, Formal Affair has it. Michigan Avenue, 4 blocks west of Merriman.
Have you driven a Ford?
That's Art. He's gonna spend all summer reading the newspaper looking for the best trade-in deal for his car. He's not gonna have any luck. So I says, hey, Art, everyone knows you get top dollar for your trade-in at Fairlane Ford with Advantage Plus. If he'd trade in his car at Fairlane Ford, we'd have more time to spend in the sun.
Have you driven a Ford lately?
Here are 2 cameras, identical in every way but one. Camera A, bought at Adray Appliance. Camera B, bought in a department store. What's the difference? Behind the Adray camera is this area's most advanced photo department, complete with processing lab, the new Creative Print System, plus a complete line of accessories. Behind the other camera is... Get the picture? To see for yourself, why not stop into Adray Appliance on Carlisle in Dearborn and get the picture? This live telecast of the 1993 Memorial Day Parade is brought to you by Dearborn Federal Savings Bank, your community bank serving Dearborn and Dearborn Heights since 1936. By Brothers Formal Wear and Formal Affair Outlet. We make you look like you want to feel. By Fairlane Ford on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, celebrating our 70th anniversary with the best deals in town. And by Adray Appliance, the original superstore on Carlisle Avenue in Dearborn. By Casey's Salad Bar, the best for lunch, and now even better for dinner. And by La Penguina Deli on Greenfield in Dearborn. By Schaefer Office Products, service is their specialty. By Sam Baydoun Century 21, your real estate specialist, commercial and residential. And by Coiffure d'Elegance, Dearborn's premier beauty salon. By the Fairlane Club in Dearborn. By the Little Professor Book Center on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, Wayne County's largest news center. And by Dearborn Public Schools Adult Support Kids Program. And now, the 1993 Memorial Day Parade.
And welcome to Dearborn's 69th Annual Memorial Day Parade. There you see the wet Michigan Avenue, but you see the crowds lined up along there too. We're all waiting for the flyover. Russ, there'll be a flyover by F-15 jets from Tyndale Air Force Base in Panama City, Florida.
Well, that was a nice trip for them to come down to our parade. We want to thank them very much. And by the way, the crowd is getting bigger, if you've noticed. It has stopped raining. It's you get a few little drops once in a while from the trees, but it seems to be warming up a little bit, too, with that wind cutting down there.
Yes, we'll have to hope that conditions will improve. We watched the 3rd Infantry Old Guard and the U.S. Army Drill Team perform. As I say, the next thing on the agenda is the flyover. Again, like many years, Russ, we'll have a variety of flyovers. The bus you're seeing, by the way, right now is taking the officials, which include Mayor Guido and the governor, back down to the start of the parade route so that they can march in the parade.
They've got it made. Must be nice to be a politician.
Right. This is the first year in 35 years that Selfridge Air National Guard Base is not involved in our flyovers. Because of military cutbacks, the Selfridge could not accommodate us with flyovers like they have done
35
for 35 years. So these jets, I have to give a lot of credit to Colin McGee, the parade chairman and the commander of the Dearborn Allied War Veterans Council, because he worked hard to try to get some additional flyovers for us, and we will be seeing these famed F-15 jets from Tyndale Air Force Base down in Panama City, Florida. They will be coming through momentarily, I would say.
Well, Colin McGee always does a great job when he's working on this. It's always amazing, and we're getting a little noise there. What was that all? Okay. Life goes on. And I want to congratulate your crew here. Earlier this morning, setting up in this rain, it was an incredible job that they did, and I think Cablevision of Dearborn should be congratulated.
Well, thank you.
And their crew.
Thank you. Actually, in some ways it was easier because we didn't have the crowds. So we were able to run around at will. But of course, it is a little nicer, and the pictures are a little prettier when it's sunny. But interestingly, they were predicting 40,000 viewers to watch the parade. I don't really think we have that many along the parade route yet, but it has been growing since we got here at about 8:30, 8:45. Everyone in rain gear, as you can see.
Beautiful rain gear, too. And lots of umbrellas out here today. By the way,
it has stopped raining at the moment.
It's nice, actually. I want to compliment, was it Lenny Russell that made those graphics on the opening?
Yes.
Boy, that's terrific.
That's
as good as broadcasting.
Lenny's directing out in the van as well. And a thank you to all of our crew who have given up their Memorial Day sleep-in is probably what they would be doing now if they weren't here.
We're going to have a lot of the school activity today, and I'd like to put in a plug right now for the millage. You know how I feel. At moments I criticize the schools, but I want to say that I don't see any alternative because this is a renewal, and I hope the citizens feel the same way.
Yes, that's right. It is a renewal of millage. If the schools don't get this millage, there will be
another election. Probably.
Another election.
And that'll be what, $40,000?
And we might remind people that Election Day is Wednesday as opposed to Tuesday, just 2 days from now, Russ. And there will be two items that you'll be voting on. The one will be the state proposal A, which deals with raising the state sales tax from 4 to 6 cents. And in fact, when the governor comes by this morning, we might ask him to comment on that.
Okay.
I know
do that.
He's been supporting that. And then, of course, there will be the Dearborn School millage. You can vote yes on both, yes on one, no on both, however you feel appropriate. But we do urge you to vote yes on the school millage, the Dearborn School millage. And by the way, they are there's a group called Adult Support Kids, and they are one of our sponsors on the parade this morning.
Well, then we better, in fairness, have everybody support all the sponsors because it takes a lot of money to put this show on, I'll tell you. So all of those sponsors, give them a break and stop in. I think you'll find they're interesting folks and decent folks who are backing our town, Dearborn, Michigan. We're waiting for the parade really to get going, and the crowd is thickening up. At one time we only had one line of folks, and now we're getting 2 deep and 3 deep in some places.
Right.
And the umbrellas are going down, and folks are looking, hey, this is the Dearborn parade. Let's have a good time. There's someone getting sort of a tent thing going.
Right.
There.
Well, it is a little blustery out here this morning. The rain has stopped, but the wind is definitely blustering.
That's a nice word. Where did you pick that one up?
Well, I guess Winnie the Pooh and the Blustery Day is what comes to mind here. We're waiting for the flyover by the jets. Perhaps they've been hampered by the low ceiling this morning.
Yeah, it is very low. And if you're a pilot, you get a little nervous in this kind of weather.
Right. We also have some Huey helicopters that will be flying over from time to time. Now here comes the empty bus back. I assume it's the empty bus, yes. That was the bus that was carrying the governor, the mayor, and a variety of elected officials.
And another crowd shot, folks back home. And of course, I wonder how the barbecues are going to go on this Memorial Day. Are they all going to be inside?
Well, we'll see how the day works out. I believe I assume we are not going to have this flyover because
Well, I hear things flying over, but you can't see them. They're trying to peek through the clouds, one lady said, to find us.
Is that right?
Okay.
I believe we have a variety of video pieces we can share with you. One of them was something that was done by Dearborn students talking about the Dearborn Public Schools again. They came around East Dearborn on Friday and painted windows, and we got some shots of that and want to share that with you now.
Here we go.
Avenue shop windows in East Dearborn last Friday. The paintings were part of a school project to better understand the meaning of Memorial Day. The students learned about the holiday with the help of Mary Weaver of the Dearborn Historical Museum. According to Wendy Sample, Dearborn art resource teacher, this was the culmination activity for these students that learned about why we have Memorial Day. According to Wendy Sample, they learned about why people sell poppies, why they plant flowers at graves, why there are wars, and what they can do to eliminate them. Keith Tianen, director of the Eastbourne Action Committee, said the student paintings help liven up the parade. The businesses are interested in this, Tianen said. It's always nice to have kids involved. It gives a little color to the parade's background. The painting activity uses a teaching method called interdisciplinary learning, which employs reading, writing, creative, and other skills to learn about a topic. In addition to learning about the meaning of Memorial Day, the kids thought it was just plain fun. That great, Russ?
Oh, that was great stuff.
Those were 40 kids from Lowry and William Ford Elementary School who went around East Dearborn and painted the windows in remembrance of Memorial Day. Just another activity that goes on in the Dearborn Public Schools. And as mentioned, we did not have our 10 o'clock flyover by the F-15 jets. It's too windy and blustery. The ceiling is too low. But the parade has started at the corner of Greenfield and Michigan and will be making its way to us. We are going to go to a commercial break at this point. We'll be back right after these messages.
Casey's Salad Bar on Michigan Avenue won its reputation as the best in the Midwest the old-fashioned way. They earned it. And now, the best gets even better with a stunningly conceived and brilliantly executed dinner menu. It's a dinner menu that will please your palate, wow your wallet, and enhance your health. A dinner menu that will impress you with its culinary creativity. The best in the Midwest now gets even better. Dinner at Casey's Salad Bar.
La Pinguina, an unusual name for an unusual deli. On Greenfield, just north of Michigan, La Pinguina features the finest deli sandwiches on bakery fresh bread and super party subs. La Pinguina's superior pasta dishes are made fresh every day. Delicious deli trays feature imported and domestic meats and cheeses. Get the best. La Pinguina, unusually delicious. Open weekdays from 8:30 to 4. La Pinguina, next to the Capri Bakery.
Dearborn's home for office supplies is Schaefer Office Products, where you'll find great service, everyday low prices on quality products, and a large selection. Pens are cheaper by the dozen at only 83 cents a box, and file folders in a 100-count box are just $3.98. Fill up your copier with 5,000 sheets for only $23.90. Schaefer has furniture for your office, candles, cards, and balloons too. Your home for office products since 1950. We're Schaefer Office Products, just a half a block north of Michigan at 4915 Schaefer.
And welcome to the 69th Annual Memorial Day Parade, the statue of Orville Hubbard in front of Dearborn City Hall. And we are live this morning. Russ Gibb, Jackie Kaiser from Cablevision Industries. We are live covering Michigan's largest Memorial Day Parade. 3,000 marchers and 16 bands and bagpipers and the entire Muslim shrine. Russ?
And they're always a big show when they...
Well, you know, interesting that you said that, because Colin McGee, the parade chairman, says two things: that the parade, of course, is meant to honor those who have given their lives for their country and those who have fought for their country, but it's a spectacle as well. It's an entertainment piece as well. And I think we have a little of, or actually quite a lot of both in this year's parade, both spectacle and memorial. We will be covering the memorial service live right after the parade. That takes place right here in front of City Hall and honors those who have died, the Dearborn residents in particular, who have died in the various wars down through the years.
Well, that's what it's all about when you think, you know, sometimes we take everything for granted here. And we see what's going on in other parts of the world, and we're so fortunate in this country. It blows me away just to think about how lucky we are to be Americans. And guys gave their lives, and women too, to make it all possible for us.
Right.
So it is a celebration. The other thing that I like about this is that it's part of Dearborn. You know, you can say what you want about this town, but they have so many great things for all the citizens, starting with Camp Dearborn, and then you have the great homecoming activities. Just so many great things. Makes you feel good about our town, Dearborn, Michigan.
Yes, we do some wonderful things in Dearborn, and this parade is one of those wonderful traditions. We were starting at the beginning of this parade, which is still quite a few blocks down the street from us, will be the Fortson High School marching band, Russ, and we were just seeing a little bit of the art department at the schools with the kids painting windows. Another important part of the Dearborn schools is music. And the Fortson Marching Band is a nationally recognized award-winning band. They go through quite a lot of work to practice for this parade and for all their many activities during the year. And we put together a nice piece about the Fortson Band. We talked with Phil Hespin, the director, and with some of the students, and we're going to share that with you right now. The High School Marching Band makes its presence known to the tens of thousands of people who line the streets for the Memorial Day Parade, and to the many viewers who see it live on CVI. And every year it's a cooperative effort between the students and their conductor, Phil Hespin. Many hours of study and practice go into the band's routine, and each student plays an important role in the overall sound and composition of the group. We had a chance to talk with Mr. Hespin to get his opinion on how the band is shaping up this year.
The Fortson Band this year is doing extremely well. We've got about 55 musicians, about 50 musicians, and approximately pom-pom squad of about 6 and flags of about 8. And they're doing very well. We went to Virginia Beach and competed against 5 bands in Class A, which is 45 musicians or less, and we came in first place with an excellent rating. So they're doing very, very well.
We also talked with a few of the students and found out why they joined the Fortson Band and what they personally get out of the experience.
I like being in the band because it gives you a chance to think. I mean, when you're out there marching, you got, 5 different things to worry about at one time. You got to You got to stay straight in the line this way. You got to stay straight in the line this way. You got to keep your foot on right. You got to be playing your music right. You got to be playing dynamically and musically. And I mean, you got 5 gears going at once, and it's great. You get such a workout from it.
I joined the band because it's something that I always like to be with. I like to be with my friends when I've joined the band. It's just something that I always like to do.
Practice makes perfect, and nobody knows that better than the Fortson Marching Band.
We start preparing for the Memorial Day Parade basically at band camp, where we march on a football field, marching 8 steps to 5 in between the yard lines. And we start that in August up at youth camp. And we pretty much continue that parade process all the way until we get into Memorial Day. So we spend some time in September and October, and then we also have our parade here, the homecoming parade in Fortson, which we parade in that, and then sometimes we get invited to some other things.
We practice, like the color guard and pom-poms, we practice after school. If we got like a show coming up, like the parade or competition, we'll practice like every day after school for a little while, about an hour or so. And basically for the band, for the music part, we just practice in school and like occasionally have an after-school sectional if we need like extra practice on a certain part.
Practice is the big thing. I mean, if you don't practice, there's no marching band. That's what it is.
With all that practice, and especially the competitions, does involvement with the band take up too much of a student's time? This is how the students see it.
A commitment for the marching band is usually a big commitment because you always have to have everyone together to march together, because if everyone's not there, not marching together, then you can't really tell what you need to do to have a better marching band.
We're constantly improving and getting better, always striving to be better. I mean, it's, you got to keep up.
So under their director's watchful eye, the band fine-tunes its performance. We asked Phil how he comes up with the music and how he gets the kids motivated.
The music is basically chosen by the kids. We sit down in my office, sometimes after school, and we listen to tapes from some of the local companies. They listen to the music, they like it, we agree upon it. I look at the difficulty of it, and then they basically decide what they want. My philosophy is if they like it, they're going to, work at it very, very hard. The kids are really into what they're doing. They feel good, they feel very proud. I think Memorial Day is extremely important. I have told them that year after year. It's the only time you get an opportunity to perform in front of 50,000 people, including TV audience. So I get them pumped in that way, and they know that it's extremely important. Voters are out there deciding millages and deciding whether or not we're going to continue with this kind of a program for the kids. And I think besides that, and some of the parents would tell you this, I run it like a family. And we're really tight, we're very close, and we just have a very, I think, unique situation, teacher-student relationship, and I think that all plays on building a good, solid organization.
Just how hard is it to work under Mr. Hespin? Some of the students told us their opinions.
He expects you to pay attention to him. He knows what he's doing. He wants to make sure the kids know what they're doing, and he wants to keep everybody in line.
He wants, if we can get a first, he wants the first. I mean, he doesn't expect too much, but if he knows he can get something, he'll want it.
I think what's unique about Fortson's overall music department, different from all the other ones, is that all of the other groups that are like #1 and the best, they eat, breathe, and smell music. That's like the only thing they do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here, we come here for 1 hour, 5 days a week, and practice. And that's all it is. And we still do exceptionally well.
Many of the students' parents get involved as well, and they're just as proud to be part of the Fortson Marching Band.
I'm a band parent, and I've been in the organization for 4 years. And I just help out when they need me and give them support and help with the girls, the color guard uniforms, because my daughter's in the color guard, and that's the flag girls. And we just go and watch them perform and to be with them and offer them support. And they really work hard, and they enjoy what they're doing, and they're like a family. They stick together, and they work with each other, and they help each other out. The reason I enjoy the Memorial Day Parade is because it gets everybody out to see what's going on in the community, and the people can see what the children are doing in the different organizations that they belong to.
It's clear that these kids really enjoy what they're doing, and it certainly comes through in their spirit and their music.
We're in it basically because we love it, and I think that makes us a lot better band.
It's just a great feeling sometimes, you know, like when you go to and do competitions and you come back with 16 trophies. It's great. I mean, when you go up against the best bands in the nation and you beat them all, I mean, there's nothing. It's a natural high.
And we are back live, and that
You
was
get an A. You get an A for that. That was a great piece.
That was a great piece. Again,
a great organization.
Done by Lenny
my
Russell.
alma mater.
Right, Fordson High School, and they lead up the parade. They are the first band that we will see marching down Michigan Avenue today. We are Jackie Kaiser and Russ Gibb live this morning on Memorial Day. Cablevision of Dearborn, Channel 11. Welcome to Dearborn's 69th Annual Memorial Day Parade. The first group that comes down the route is the Dearborn Police Honor Guard. And there you see one of our police cars. And the U.S. Army Color Guard is part of them.
And the chief of police is in that first car.
The chief of police, who's become quite a star since the terrible events at the Dearborn Post Office.
They did a great job.
There he is, Police Chief Ron Daziel, waving to us. And there is the U.S. Army Color Guard.
No, that's the police.
Oh, is that the police color guard?
Right. Police coming up with the color guard.
Okay. And now we're beginning to hear the sounds of the Fordson High School marching band.
And they've all got their rain covers on today. You know, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to raise the money, get the instruments to the kids, to get the uniforms, the time spent, the transportation. Phil Hespin and the Parents Club of Fordson High should be congratulated. They do a marvelous job.
There's Phil Hespin marching alongside the kids, waving.
We're going to have to get Phil a gold and blue tie, though. That tie he has on looks like it belongs to Max Scott. And he doesn't even have a raincoat on. But you don't need one right now. What's going on?
Waving to everyone. And behind him are members of the Dearborn City Council. Nancy Hubbard there in the red jacket, Suzanne Serini in the white jacket. There's Doug Thomas. There's Suzanne and Nancy.
There's Bill Runco, the judge, and
Bill Hultgren.
Bill Hultgren, the judge.
See Dwayne Weidendorf out there, Joyce Olkowski.
There's our member of the Dearborn School Board, and there's the superintendent of schools, Dr. Jeremy Hughes, and Mary Bajaya from the school board.
There's Jeremy Hughes.
I wonder if this is his first parade. I don't think he was here last year.
I can't remember if he was or not.
I think this is his first parade. And that reminds us we're
the governor's on the other side of the street. See if we can get his attention.
Well, jump out there, Jackie. Go. Jackie's got a portable mic, and she's going to jump out and see if she can get a hold of the governor. He's got a red jacket on, and there is Mr. Hart, Senator Hart, going by. And there's John Dingle and Debbie Dingle. They're over there getting ready to talk to Jackie at this point. And
well, it's a great parade, as it always is in Dearborn, best in the state. And it's a great celebration of the patriotic values Americans have, and I'm delighted to be here.
Thank you very much.
And the weather's going to stay good.
Good to see you.
He's got his VFW cap on, and there was Bob Knope, councilperson, just walking by. And there's Senator Regal. He's sort of walking in the middle. I wonder why. Well, you got John, but you couldn't get the governor.
We're going to try and see if we can get the governor to come over here to us. He was, of course, on the other side of the street from us, which made it a little difficult, but it was nice to talk to Congressman Dingle, as it always is.
And his wife was there, too.
His wife, Debbie, yes.
I noticed the governor has a Oldsmobile today, but following right up there is a Mercury Marquis. This is Dearborn, remember?
Okay, we are now seeing the Dearborn Disabled American Veterans. Corporal Ian Gray, Post 51. Dino Taglioli is the commander.
George Carr is trustee. Mr. Kent is trustee. Ed Rachel, trustee. Now passing in review.
They're being very democratic with the trucks. One is a Ford and one is a Chevrolet.
And this is the women's division. Sue McEnany is the president of the Post 51 women's division.
I don't see Sue there, but she may have been in that truck, and we couldn't get a good look at her there. I assume that's Sue McElhenney from the school board, too.
Well, I'm not sure. It might be another person. It might be Sue McEnany.
Oh, McEnany. Sure. Yeah, I see. It's spelled differently. It is.
Right.
Approaching the reviewing stand. Police Legion of America, Chapter 75.
This is PLAV, Chapter 75, Ronald Custer, Commander. PLAV, Chapter 75. Followed by the PLAV Chapter 75 Auxiliary with Marie Mavis, who is the president. This is the Polish Legion of American Veterans.
PLA 75 and its auxiliary with Marie Mavis, president, passing in review.
And we have a break in the parade at the moment, and we will hear a word from some of our sponsors. Stay with us.
Just drag it into here.
Hair care done right? Hard to find. Get it done. Get it done right. Where? Coiffure. Coiffure?
Coiffure d'Elegance.
But do they do it right?
They do it right.
When do they do it?
9 to 9, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6 on Sunday.
But I'm getting married.
They do weddings too.
Are they friendly?
Oh, yes.
But are they professional?
Most definitely.
Where do they do this?
The Fairlane Club, Dearborn, Michigan.
Going to the Little Professor Book Center as a kid was the next best thing to candy. I would spend the whole day just looking at all of the children's books. Once I got a little older, my friends and I found new things in life, like boys and rock bands. But Little Professor seemed to still be there with yet a bigger selection. Oh, my styles and interests have all changed now since I was that little girl, and so has the Little Professor Book Center, but they're still there for me and my ever-changing needs. Little Professor Book Center, we're growing up with you.
Power Pack folder that I've just created on here.
You see me on TV talking about a lot of different school issues. Well, there is a big school issue coming up June 2nd. It's an election including Proposal A in our district's millage. Now, if you care about the kids and you care about the quality of education in our schools, or if you just care about the stabilization of our property values or seeing our property values continue to rise, you will vote yes for our district millage.
And welcome back live to the 69th Annual Memorial Day Parade. And passing in front of us now, Russ, the Lowry Junior High Band. Another good reason to vote yes on the millage.
And another great school. I came through Lowry also.
Did you? You went to Lowry?
Mm-hmm. Oh, McDonald, Lowry, the whole shooting match. And, you know, that's a thing that I think that people sometimes forget. You know, we hear all the criticisms of the schools and education in general today. But 99% of what's going on is okay, and we should be debating the schools and what we're doing. But I think we have to get out and support this millage. And if you think I'm just plugging it, I have a vested interest too. I think it's important as a school teacher. I'm telling you, there's good things going on in the school, and I hope that they understand that this is a renewal of the millage.
Right.
And the band looking great. They've got new uniforms too.
Yes, Greg Gossard is the director of the Lowry Junior High Band. We're going to hear them.
And you see the band, you realize that in junior high they go from about 3 feet tall to about 6 feet tall.
And approaching us next is VFW Post 5112. Walter Wazel is the commander. These are the Military Order of the Purple Heart, Chapter 75.
Fellows that were wounded in combat.
Right. Andrew Kane is the commander.
By the way, look at that Mustang car.
Ooh-wee. It's a nice one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. We could go sporting in that. I mean, we could go cruising up T-Graph together.
Cruising the graph, huh?
Order of Purple Heart, Chapter 75, Andy Commander. Now passing in review.
And you get the same director. Mine's a little bit different.
And this is the Military Order of the Purple Heart Auxiliary. Auxiliary Unit for Chapter 482.
And our sister city, Garden City,
right.
A neighbor.
From here, this is where before you start the game, you go here to select slot file. And it's in the same POW files that I was just talking about.
And there we have the Catholic War Veterans. Post 1540, Edward Raymond is the commander.
And there's that gusty wind causing some problems with the flag bearers.
Right. Followed by the 82nd Airborne Division Association, Jim Etherton, commander.
One fella has a Desert Storm outfit on.
Right. Some of the military presence in this parade, Russ.
That's what it's all about.
See
And they bring their families with them, too, which is sort of neat. There's a little guy riding in a Jeep with his mom and dad.
Want to make safe states, so I made safe states for kids.
I notice a lot of the folks have jumped inside the car today. Have you noticed? There's this one fella's left out here by himself. The rest of the folks are all riding in the car.
I hit A and select here. It makes a safe state there. So I'll move over here and I'll hit B, select again. Puts me where I made that safe state. So that's pretty much it.
And there's a General Henry Dearborn AMVETS Post 4.
And here's a flyover.
Well, they were the ones I think were supposed to be here a half an hour ago.
Well, they were low. I mean,
yes, they were.
They were really
wonderful.
low to come.
2 F-15 fighter jets. They were from Tyndale Air Force Base in Panama City. The noise they make is incredible.
Welcome to another 5-minute review episode.
I'll tell you, they
Today,
came up
we are
fast,
taking
too.
a
They
look
were,
at NES Power
I think they're going around for another pass. I'm not sure.
You think they might be back? I don't know. Usually we don't get them more than
The NES Power Pack is
They
a
look like they were
cartridge.
veering
I
off to
bought
come
mine
around
from
again. I don't know.
retrousb.com
Exciting
for about
morning here at the
$120.
corner of
I purchased it right
Schaefer
before I
and
purchased a
Michigan
Retro 5,
Avenue in
so I
Dearborn.
haven't
We
used
are
the Power
covering the
Pack as much as I
69th
would have
Annual
otherwise.
Memorial Day Parade
comes in a
live for
transparent
you.
lid case
It is
and a
starting
CF
to
slot on
drizzle a
top.
bit here again
The
this
cart has a
morning,
solid
but
build, and
it's
it
not
has the
daunting
exact
the
same shape
many
and
crowds of
size
people
of
lining the
official
street.
NES
Everyone's come in
cartridges.
rain gear,
They
which
even
is,
throw
of
in a
course,
nice custom
entirely
sleeve for the
appropriate.
And we're going to get in our ring.
Considering the price of this
A
cartridge,
bumper
mine will
shoot. There
either
we
be
go.
in a console
Whoa.
or in this sleeve.
There we
It
are.
uses a compact flash memory card. I don't know
We
why
will
they didn't
take a
choose
commercial
just a
break while
standard
there's a
SD
left
memory
in
card.
the action here on
Retro
Michigan Avenue.
USB
We'll be
website
right back.
claims
Stay with us.
compact flash is used instead of something else like SD for maximum speed. But I find that to be a weak
Dearborn
excuse.
Federal Savings Bank,
When
your
the games
community
are only
bank, has it all.
250 to 500
Experience,
kilobytes,
expertise,
it doesn't
reputation,
take long
and the
to
strongest
copy
starting
them
lineup
to
in the
or
community.
from an
Leading
SD
off
card.
and always making the right play.
CF cards
and
can be
accounting
from
for all the
90
new
to
players who
100
move into the
megabytes per
lineup.
second, and
The
SD
power hitters,
cards
the
from
people
6
you can
to
trust
30.
to match the
But
right
you
loan
only
with
need
your
to
needs.
copy all of
And the
games
manager, the
onto
leader of
card
the
once.
championship team,
So to be
Bill
honest,
White,
I
serving
would rather
Dearborn and
have it
Dearborn
use an
Heights since
SD card.
1936. Dearborn
I
Federal
had to
Savings
go out
Bank
and
makes
purchase a
everyone
CF
in our
card,
community
as I
a
had
winner.
never owned one and never had a use for one
Formal,
until I
fashionable,
purchased the Power
fantastic.
Pack.
They've got it
On
all
the
at
right
Brothers
side,
Formal
you don't
Wear.
need to install
Colorful
any
or
software.
conservative,
You
topper
just
or
drag and drop
tails. You
the
can get
ROMs
fit
onto
and
the CF
fabulous
card.
for your wedding day,
I would
graduation day,
recommend
or any
creating
special day.
directories for each letter
Brothers
in the
Formal Wear
alphabet
on Michigan
so you
Avenue
can
across
scroll
from
and find
Jacobson's
games
in
you
West
want
Dearborn.
easily.
And our factory outlet in
This cart will
Wayne.
not
Formal
work on the
affair
Retro
for bridal
5.
accessories
Software
at 40 to
used does
60%
not handle
off.
the extra
If you're having
functions
a
of the
wedding or
cart.
need a bridal shower gift,
However, if you
Formal
are
Affair
using a
has
console
it.
that is
Michigan
hardware
Avenue, 4
emulated
blocks
like
west
the
of
Retro
Merriman.
Duo, then it will work. It works on an original model NES. I don't have a top loader. I have red that works on that as well.
Well, I'm delighted to be here today. What a great
graphics
day.
and the sound
Unfortunately,
will
the
not be
rain is
any
interfering
different than
somewhat,
if
but the
you use
people
the
are very
actual card.
enthusiastic out there.
Frame rate,
What are your
slow
thoughts
down,
on
or
Memorial
any
Day?
lag
Do you
you
have any
experience
special
are
thoughts
not
that
because
come
of
to
the
mind
cart
as we
or the ROM.
as we think about
That is
those who
because
have
of the
served in the
hardware.
military and given their lives
Since
over
the games
the
are
years?
being played
Well,
through
this is
the
a special
original hardware
weekend,
of
and
the
you know, it's
NES,
easy to get swept
it's a
away with
console
sort of the holiday weekend that this
The Power
becomes,
Pack
and
has a built-in
people
game
traveling.
genie,
But
and it allows
it's important to
up to
remember
5
the
codes
serious
at once.
purpose of
So
Memorial
it's
Day.
improved on the original
America's been a
game
beacon
genie
for
the
freedom all over
Nintendo,
the
which
world,
only
and
allowed
that's
3
because
at
of
a
the
time.
sacrifice that
Your
the
saves
military
can be
service, the
copied
men
to
and
and
women
from
who
the
fought
CF
for this
card
country
and PC for use on
made, and
emulators
many
if
of
you
them paid
like.
the ultimate sacrifice.
One
but
example of this
today,
coming in
the
handy,
American
you can play
dream
games
is
on the PC,
becoming turned
and copy
into
the save over to
you know,
continue
now
where
the
you left
Hungarian
off on
dream,
the
the
NES with the
Polish
Power
dream,
Pack.
and everyone is
One thing that
experiencing in
works that
different
some
ways
people may not think about
democracy
is the
and
fact
market
that
economies,
Famicom
and that's
games will
wonderful.
also work. They run on the same hardware in Japan,
Comment
just with
on
a
the
different pin set.
proposal A, which
So
we'll
that
be
gives you
voting on
even
in a
more
couple
games
of
to choose
days.
from.
How do you feel it's going to go?
And if you want
Well, I
to
think
go
it's going
one
to be a
step
close vote,
further,
but I think we're going to
You can
succeed.
take
I
some
think
of those
people are
Japanese
so fed up
Famicom
and ready to
ROMs,
end 20
find
years
the
of
English patches.
frustration over
You
high
can play
property
Japanese
taxes
games
and
you may have never
out-of-control
played before
assessments. And
in
what we've
English.
done with Proposal A is literally
The main
add
issue
everything
about
to
the
it
Power
that we
Pack
could
is the
that
price.
dealt with the property
The
tax
functions
issue.
all
So
work like
we're
they
going to roll
should,
back
and they can
assessments.
save you a lot
We're
of
going to
money.
cap those at
With
the
the
rate of
cost of some of
inflation, but
these
never to
games
exceed
getting into the
5%.
hundreds
That's
and
an
even
awful lot of
thousands
protection.
of
You
dollars,
take a senior in
this
their
is one of the
home,
most
they
cost-effective
now know they're
ways
never going to get a
for most
double-digit
people to
assessment
pay
hike. Or
some
the
of
young
those
couple
really
trying to finance
expensive
that very
purchases.
first home, never going to have a
In my
double-digit
opinion,
assessment
it would come down
hike.
to
That
this,
helps a lot.
a Retron 5,
Very good.
or
Well,
a
just
Raspberry Pi.
in parting, what's the
If
rest
you want
of
the
your
true
day going to be
experience
like?
and on original
Well,
hardware,
I've got
then the Power
my
Pack or
major
the
event of the
EverDrive
day that I
N8
end up
are
with
the way to go.
after this parade is
On the other
Channel
hand,
50,
if
the
you want to
last
play some retro games on
Proposal
your
A town
HD
meeting,
TV
and so it's sort of the
without
last
having a
chance
bunch of
to
different consoles
summarize
hooked up,
these
then you might
constitutional
want to think
guarantees,
about a
address the
Retron
issue of
5
trust, because
or the
a lot of
Raspberry
people say,
Pi.
look, I want to vote for this plan,
The Power
but I
Pack
don't know
is
if
a
I can
little bit
trust anybody in
expensive.
government. And say,
Consider
look,
the alternative
just put it
in
in the
buying all those
Constitution,
NES
and it can't be
games.
changed
And
unless
the
you vote to
convenience of
change it
having
again. You don't have to
every
trust
NES game
anybody. It's
already in the
politician
console.
proof. And we'll talk
No
about
need
that
to
tonight.
ever
That's an
switch
hour-long
carts
town
again.
hall meeting. And
I
I'll
am
be
ICC,
out there the
and
rest
I'm
of the
outta
day
here.
just trying to
Thanks for
persuade
watching.
people as I encounter them on the
Peace.
street. Hey, this is the thing to do.
Very good. Thanks for joining us today, Governor Engler. Best wishes.
Thank you very much.
And we are watching Dearborn's 69th Annual Memorial Day Parade. There you see the Blue Goose, which, of course, is one of the noisiest parts of the Dearborn Parade.
Hey everybody, it's Lon Seidman, and we're taking a look today at the EverDrive N8. And if this looks like a Nintendo cartridge, that's because it is. It is a flash
there they are, all
cartridge.
waving
What
at
these
us.
allow you to do is take round
We
files,
are
put them on
seeing
an SD card
the
here,
Blue
and
Goose
instead
go
of
by,
booting them up
which
in an
is
emulator, you can
part
boot
of
them
it.
Actually,
up
it's
on the
gone
original
by.
hardware.
Yeah,
It's
now we're
built
getting
into
the
an
fire-
original NES
fire
made in
truck.
the 80s,
Over.
and you can
Oh,
get
dear.
some 21st
Where's Frank
century
Wheeler?
features with it, including
You know, he
the
comes at the end of
Oh,
the
he's at the other
one
one.
at the end, I believe.
Just a second.
We
Now,
saw a
I do wanna
variety
mention
of
the interest of full
groups go
disclosure,
by
this is
as
on
we.
loan from Stone Age Games.
There it is. Right, we
Who
saw a
sells these
variety
things.
of
However, all
groups
the
go by,
opinions
Russ,
elected
as we
here
were
are my
talking
own.
with the
Nobody
governor,
is paid
the
for this
Marine
review.
Corps
Nobody's
League,
reviewing this
the
content
Vietnam
before it is
Veterans
posted.
of
So the
America,
price on the
you
EverDrive
noticed,
N8 is about
and
$118
VFW
for
West
the
Dearborn
base
Post
cartridge. That does not
2107,
include the SD card, but those are
American
cheap enough
Legion
to find
Fort
these
Dearborn
days.
Post
I do recommend, though,
364,
looking at a
and
name
then we
brand
just
SD
saw
card
the
like
Blue
a
Goose.
SanDisk or something like that, something that has a little bit more of a quality
And
around it,
here's
just because you want this to work every
Memorial
time. Some
for
folks have
American
reported cheaper parts
ex-prisoners
not
of
working
war.
as well. Now, Stone Age Gamer sells a deluxe edition of this cartridge. That's what this one is. The hardware is the same, but they throw in the SD card. You have a few different options on what the cartridge looks like, I believe. They also have a carrying case and
built on the
stickers
back of
that
that truck.
extend the
Yes,
warranty
American
from 1 year to 3 years.
XPOW Wolverine Chapter
Into the mix for about
101.
$148, but the hardware is otherwise the same. Now, a couple of years ago,
World War
we reviewed
I,
the
World
Power
War
Pack.
II,
If you're not
Korean,
looking for a flash
and
cartridge, you've
Vietnam.
undoubtedly heard of the Power
Memorial
Pack.
Day,
I
that's
wanted
what it's
to
all about,
give you a
honoring
little head-to-head, at least the things that
men
I
and
see
women that gave their
significantly
lives so
different
that
from
you and
them.
I
There
could
is
be
a
here
really
today
useful
with a good
community-maintained
And Russ, this entire
compatibility
first
list and
division
PDF format
essentially
that I'm going to link
is
you
a
down below.
veteran
It covers just
division.
about every game you can think of, and it tells you which one works on
This
which
is
cartridge.
Ford
Most of
Motor,
these games
American
work on
Legion,
both. There are a few
Ford
that work
Motor
on one
Post
and not the other, and a few
173.
more don't work on either of them,
Edward
but
Sopchik
you
is the
check that out
commander
to see
of
what
this
the
group.
compatibility is looking
And
like.
one
But there are
driving a
some
brand
areas
new
where I think the
Ford,
EverDrive
and one
N8
driving,
is the
what
better
is
product. They
that?
both handle most of the
We're not
popular
gonna
games well enough that you can play them without issue, but the big issue for me is
Well,
how
that's what
they handle
democracy is
save
all about,
games.
Jackie. I mean, anybody can drive anything they want in this country. We have a choice.
To the SD card here without having to have any intervention to do so. So, for example,
And these are members of the American Legion Post 173.
save game file is going to be saved.
I think there's some daughters marching in
Yes.
that group with them, too.
Family members as well, as we always have at this Memorial Day parade.
On the Power Pack, you have to download a dummy file first, install that on the
You know,
SD
folks are
card,
bundled up
save
here.
game as a ROM, I
The temperature, I think,
believe.
probably
When
is
you're
up
done playing
around
Zelda, you gotta
60,
remember
but
to hit the reset
with the
button
wind
before you
factor,
switch
it's
to
Yes.
a little chilly.
Wind is definitely chilly.
But not as bad as the year that we had the snow. Remember
I
the
remember
snow?
that.
layers of complexity to it. Should be a simpler process.
We have
This
here
one
VFW
handles it
Lieutenant
automatically.
Archie Kelly
This is less
Post
expensive. It's $118 versus
1494. Louis
$155
McHugh
for a Power
III
Pack.
is the
It uses less
commander.
expensive flash
And
SD card flash
following
memory versus the compact
that
flash
group
on the
is
power
the
pack.
Woodworth
It also
Junior High
handles
School
file
Band.
indexing better, so when you load up your round files onto the SD card here, you can sort them on the cartridge, whereas this
See
one
if we
only
can
stores
begin
or
to hear
sorts them in
them.
the order in which they were written to the cards, unless you get some fancy
And they're all dressed up in their new uniforms, too.
the order is the order in which you added them. So you've got a bunch of games on.
You know, we all want basics in the school, but music and art and theater, these things are important too.
Right.
Very important.
And marching along with the band is Mike Kalis, who's the director of the Woodworth Band with his family.
Let's get our NES hooked up here. All right, so let's boot this up and see how it all works. You just have to put the cartridge in like any other NES game. You power up your NES, and you can see, here we go. We got the whole thing booted up, and we are ready to get going playing some games. I'm going to run over here to the ROMs folder first that I created, and maybe I'll load up the Batman game.
You're a fireman, I think.
All you have to do now is just hit the B button, and that will load it.
Yeah, and this is the fire department honor guard, Russ.
Load it into the cartridge memory, and then we are off and running.
Now, coming up in this car, in this antique car coming down the street, is August Haas. He is a World War I veteran. He was born in 1899. He's going to be 93 this year.
Essentially running the original software on the original hardware. There is some more to
He looks
this,
wonderful,
though, so
too. Sitting in the rumble seat of that
All right, so
car.
we're going to return to the main menu here. We're going to go over to our
You know what a
ROM
rumble
section.
seat is?
I know what a rumble seat is.
Brothers 3, but before I load up the game, what I want to do
I wish they'd
is
bring
hit
the rumble
select on
seat
my
back.
controller to show you this other
A
menu
four-door
that is
convertible,
popped up
boy.
here. Now, if you go over to options, you can see there's an option here for save state.
Oh, he'll be
In the car, in addition, is John Horniak, who is a World War I veteran, who is going to be 100 years old on Thanksgiving Day. I tell you the truth, Russ, I'm not sure if it's John who's in the rumble seat or if August who's in the rumble seat, but one of them is 93, the other will be 100 this
And we
year.
ought to celebrate just the fact that they made it that long.
Quite remarkable.
Congratulations to them.
Quite remarkable. And the Dearborn Exchange Club, which will be passing out flags during the course of the parade. We're going to take a break. We will return live right after this.
Maybe we'll jump into the castle and start playing the game, and maybe I want to save my game right over here. So what I can do now is hold down and start. A flash like you just saw there.
That's Archie. He's going to spend all summer reading the newspaper looking for the best trade-in deal for his car. He's not going to have any luck. So I says, hey, Art, everyone knows you get top dollar for your trade-in at Fairlane Ford with Advantage Plus. If he'd trade in his car at Fairlane Ford, we'd have more time to spend in the sun.
After it loads, we should be brought back to
Just as a great artist requires the proper tools to create the perfect painting, a great chef needs the right tools to create the perfect meal. At Adray Appliance, you can make your kitchen complete with our selection of quality housewares and specialty items. We carry the best names and the latest technology, everything you'll need to satisfy your culinary passion. We all know that great artists should suffer, but that doesn't mean that great chefs have to. Adray Appliance, the artist supply store
So you have to
for
be very
chefs.
careful to hit the right combination here because it just overwrites whatever the existing state
And
is.
we are back
again,
live with
one
the
state
parade.
per
The
game,
Exchange
make
Club
sure
just
you
went
make it
past
count.
and gave
But
us,
again, you
along
can
with
pop the
everyone
card
else
out
along
and
the
back up
way,
those states
little
if you
American
wanna come back to
flags.
them later
And
protect
parading in
them
front of
from
us at the
something
moment is
happening.
the
Another
Michigan
area
National
of
Guard
note inside the actions
1806
menu is the
Engineer
cheat function, which
Aviation
works with
Battalion.
Game Genie
They
codes.
are a
And if you remember the Game Genie from
Korean
back in the day, it was a little
battalion.
thing that,
And
you would put
their
inside your
coordinator
NES
is
with
Ron
the
Richards.
cartridge, and it would allow you to do things like
And
get
behind them,
unlimited
coming
drives
up
and a whole
on
bunch
our
of other
screen
stuff
just
just by
about will be
typing
the
in some
Kilties.
codes, and there's a bunch of websites where you can find those cheat
There they
codes.
are from
You can
Canada,
put
I
those
assume.
in
Yes,
and
the Royal
have the Game
Canadian
Genie
Air Force,
essentially
branch
work through your cartridge here
364.
without actually owning a Game Genie, so that's pretty cool.
Royal
One other
Canadian
thing that
Legion
was
Ed
of note on
Prentice
here
is
if
the
you go into
president,
a
and Ed
cartridge and
McDowell,
a ROM
president of the
and
Color
select
Guard.
ROM info, it'll tell you a few things about the ROM that you're using. So you'll see here at the bottom it says that Super Mario Brothers.
Well, I
3
bet
is
they could each
supported.
use a
It
wee
also
duck
shows
and
what
Doris
mappers
right
it
now.
is using.
You know what a wee duck and Doris is?
I know, I'm not sure. What is that, right?
It warms up your tummy. Now, guys. It comes in a little bottle.
Little scotch,
A little
Is put in what's called a field programmable gate array.
And there's
processor,
our
and that
parade
chip,
chaplain,
can be made into
Reverend
any
Father
other chip,
James
and,
F.
what it does when
Bradley.
it boots up a
And
game
in
is
a
it
neat
actually
automobile.
reprograms itself to support some of those extended capabilities. So many games work with this quite well. Again, that compatibility list is definitely worth checking out so you can see exactly.
In memory
whether or
of
not your
those
game's
who
going to work
served.
with it. What doesn't work, at least on the
This is the
American
Dearborn
NES, are things
Historical
like the
Museum.
Castlevania 3 version from
Dearborn
Japan,
Historical
which has some
Museum,
special audio chips that
in the
Connie
Rendezvous
put
on the
into play,
Rouge group,
with that particular
commemorates
version.
the
Doesn't
French
work on
and
the
Indian
American
Wars, and
NES,
as you know, that
there
takes
has been
place
some work
every
in the
year
community
down
to
at
get,
Ford
the
Field
adapters looking
on
for that
weekend
chip.
in
However,
June,
the
usually
American
the
NES
weekend
doesn't have
following
the audio
the Senior
wired in
Players
for that
Championship.
properly, so you'd have to do some soldering to
And
get it all to work.
there's an
A lot of work for
encampment,
that,
there
so,
are battle
you might wanna get the
reenactments.
Famicom and the
It's most
Famicom
interesting.
Everdrive
If you have
to
never been down there, you have to go down. It's quite interesting.
The American version of Castlevania 3 does load up just fine. So you go over to the ROM info, you can see what mappers it's using and supported. However, it does not work with
Those
the
are
save
authentic
states.
uniforms.
Yes.
They go to a
Save state on
great
Castlevania 3
deal
here,
of
but you
trouble
can,
and
play
expense
with it.
to
So it does at least work
get
as a
them
game. It just
accurate.
doesn't support all
We even have an
features of
Indian
the
coming
Everdrive
up here.
or some of the special audio features that are in the Japanese version. But what does work on
do
my
a great
American
job.
NES is Famicom disk system support. So I can actually load up these floppy disks that were sold for the Japanese Famicom on my American
And this float
NES.
is
So I've got
also
an
part
FPS file
of Rendezvous on the
versus
Rouge,
a
and there are the
sub-type,
dates,
which
June
is never
12
released
and
in the
13.
US.
This
If
year
you go
it's
over to
prior
ROM
to
info, you can see
the Senior Players Championship.
Now what you're going to see on here very briefly
Rendezvous
is
on
the
the
little
Rouge.
BIOS screen that you would get on that disk system, which never existed for the American NES, but the hardware is
There's one kid, I think
compatible.
he's
So you can see
fishing.
we've got the Nintendo family computer, a little license warning.
Oh,
there.
that's a bow and
There we go.
arrow.
We've got Versus Excite Bike running. Let me go over here to Original Excite. You can see here it says Set Site B. It's actually flipping its virtual disc over automatically inside that cartridge.
And following behind them is the Etzel Ford High School Band.
And looking great in their black and white uniforms.
The cartridge is essentially replicating what that system
Jim Otto is the
has.
director
There is
of
some
this
special audio
band.
that I don't believe is supported on the American NES. If I'm wrong, definitely correct me and I'll pin your comment down below. But otherwise, the games are playable. There's a bunch of stuff that
Getting a nice round of applause from
Great,
the
yeah.
people around us.
Before we close out, let's take a look at the SD card on my computer so you can see how all these files work on here. Now, to add ROMs, all you got to do is just copy them into the ROMs over here like I did earlier. I do suggest that if you have a lot of ROMs stored on the card, you break things out in some way because the Nintendo isn't all that quick and it has a hard time reading large directories and files. It was not designed to do that.
Norman Rockwell.
So, I would suggest if you've got a bunch, make a different folder for each letter of the alphabet and organize them into folders. That way, that'll be a little faster for moving around.
And the VFW.
Call the folders anything you want.
West
Put your
Dearborn
ROMs anywhere.
Post,
For example, like
2107.
this FPS folder for
Ivy
the
Vibe
disk
behind the
system
Etzel Band.
image that we were trying out
And
earlier,
coming
so
up,
a lot of flexibility there. The one
It's like the Knights of Columbus, would it be?
Yes, the Knights of Columbus, indeed. District 1, 4th degree color core.
Mappers and its operating system.
Doug Brown, Commander.
To change the BIOS of the cartridge after some major update comes down. You can do that through the SD card here without having to do anything crazy. The power pack does require you to send it back to the creator and have it updated. It does that for free.
This is the
It's
4th
still a
degree
pretty huge
color
step to
core.
get a BIOS update on that one versus just
They
an
are
SD
looking
card file
very
here on,
colorful.
this
Some of them
front.
I noticed
All
have
the mappers for
plastic
those
covering
special
those
features
plumes.
Yeah.
here, and some
Well, you know,
community
you
members
get
are
your
working on
feathers a
that.
little
So you
damp
can just
on a
drag
day
those
like
mappers
this.
into
And here
and
comes
that
Father
will program
Patrick
it FPGA
O'Kelly,
to do things
Council
like that
3860.
And all smiling at
And
you.
also
All
have
smiling,
your
all
save
in
state
green.
files
Tony
saved here.
Mazamilia
This is also where you store your save
is
game
the
data
Grand
from,
Knight.
For example, a Zelda saves, which traditional saving files, all that stuff will be put down in the save folder here.
And seeing their aprons reminds me how retarded children they do. They're the ones that sell Tootsie Rolls every year and try to raise money for retarded children here in our community.
By accident, you just drag it back in, and your save state will be back.
And the Sacred Heart
image of
school
the
bus.
memory of the NES, and that is where
I think that's a band bus.
Stored. It's really cool
Well,
stuff.
it's
very
the
easy
school
to
bus.
get
They
this
use it
working,
for
and I
all
like the
kinds of school
functionality that
activities,
this brings, which is a very easy to use save state function along with a very easy backup function for traditional saves. That's a really big feature here. that I
Mr.
think
T
really
driving
separates
it.
This one out. Like the price, pretty
And the
reasonable.
Knights of
What's also
Columbus,
cool
Bishop
about this is
Foley,
that it
Council
adds some features
Over here.
to those expensive
Oh,
NES
we didn't
phones
get any
we looked at.
Tootsie Rolls.
Oh, okay.
Doggone it.
The ABS as well as the analog NT Mini.
You can't really eat a Tootsie Roll when you're trying to talk at a parade.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can.
It's a pretty cool argument for it. So, although the
Oh
analog
dear, Knights
NT
of
Mini
Columbus
does allow
we're looking at. This is Bishop Foley Council. Dave Beniak is the Grand Knight.
These flash cartridges, and in fact, if you've got somebody in your life, maybe you, wants a really nice HD NES experience, this along with the retro USB AVS is under $300 together.
And followed behind them are the daughters of Isabella. St. Joan of Arc, Circle 634. Shirley Ryan is the regent.
Very, very little button lag. A really nice experience for NES clone consoles. You got to pay a little bit, but sometimes it's nice to pay a little bit more for something really, really nice, and that is what both of those devices bring you. And of course, you get some really good functionality with the cartridge here on top of that. This does not work with the.
And there's a nice view right down Michigan Avenue here in our town, Dearborn, Michigan. P.O.L. Smith, Junior High, Viking Band.
Down below. I'm quite impressed with this thing. I think I'm going to probably buy this anyhow. Enjoying playing with it. And that will do it for our review of the EverDrive N8. Leave your questions and comments below. And this is Lon Simon. Thanks for watching.
And I think our music program is getting better in the Dearborns because, I mean, all these bands sound great
They
today.
do. They sound wonderful. Kathy Eiler is the director of this band.
And look at the bandmaster, how proud he looks with that big hat on. And not bad, dress and cover for the marching band. O.L. Smith. I'll give them an A, too.
Yes, indeed.
And don't forget to subscribe.
And coming up behind them, the Polish Women's Alliance of America.
Colorful outfits the girls have.
Yes, in their traditional
Figure it
Polish
out.
costumes.
Oh, look at these two coming
Hello,
up.
this is Adam
Aren't they
Froelich of
cute?
Figured Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
You know, these are the groups that
Hey
dance.
guys,
I don't know if you've ever seen some of these groups
Oh, great.
perform. They're just wonderful
Just a
dancers.
couple of things I want to
Yeah,
play.
it's better
So,
than
I'm
aerobics.
gonna go ahead and open
We
this
better
up,
take it
and
up.
then, we'll
Lay
talk
off the
more
Polish
about it.
sausage
So
and
we'll
take up
turn
Polish
around.
Right.
Always have scissors around, but I didn't do that this time. Okay, so we got
Polish
two
Women's
things. First,
Alliance.
we got a game called Dosha the Giant, which
Number
is not
3
really
dance
the point of this
troupe.
video.
That's the
So
group
we'll put
that's
that
in
to
the
side. If you
the
want to
truck.
see more about this, watch Playload at the end of the month, and I'll talk more
Ballet,
about it.
tap, and jazz
Talk
and
about
ethnic,
this.
it says.
This is the EverDrive N8.
Oh, hi, man. How are you?
And,
Come on, sit down here.
Hold on a sec. Let's get the...
Like them on Facebook.
No, come on in.
We
can't hear you.
Here, we can get a comment. Mayor Guido's here with us. Your
Possibly
thoughts
Retro
this
Towers. Go ahead and
Memorial
look that
Day?
up.
Well, I wish the weather would have been a little better, but look at the great crowd we have. It's tremendous
I actually
crowd.
did a
Oh,
video
gee, I'm
on,
interrupting the
this
Italian-American club.
similar version of this.
They put the picture on me. I'm in big trouble.
They'll never forget. There you are. There you are, Mayor Guido.
Dearborn people have certainly turned out for this parade, and we still have the largest parade in Michigan, and probably one of the largest in the United States. 82nd Airborne. Yes. Honorary Airborne.
That's a wonderful.
I didn't have to make a jump for it.
That's a wonderful.
Mayor, you're to be congratulated, too, and all your staff for putting all this together. It's incredible. I don't know how you guys do all this.
We have the choice,
Sergeant
depending on what
McGee,
console
Colin
you
McGee,
have,
is the Allied War
to
Veterans
buy
Commander, and also
one
the parade
version or the
marshal,
other for use
chairman.
in your country.
General Teddy
or
Allen is our
region,
Grand
wherever you are
Marshal.
specifically. I think it looks pretty good, personally.
Joined his office,
it is clearly
certainly
a donor
does a lot
cartridge.
to coordinate
A donor cartridge
and of course the
typically comes
veterans.
from, like,
I
an
mean,
old
this parade is
sports
their
title,
parade,
because it's cheap.
and we just let
What
them
they'll
use
do
the
is
streets.
they will open it up,
And
they will
it's a
remove
great,
the
great
chipset
parade.
inside, and then,
And you will
replace it
be
with the board
emceeing
that's
the
in
memorial
here.
service
Not to mention
immediately
you
after
also
this
have
parade.
We
Is
have
that
a
right?
memorial service right after, and
on top of that, it's also had a
it'll
hole
be a
cut
very
right
nice
here, which I'll
tribute
explain
to the
in a
war
moment.
dead, and that's really what
It's
Memorial
very
Day is
heavy
all about.
for an NES
Absolutely.
cartridge, and there's a simple reason for this.
Thanks
Well,
very
Mary, your
much.
group looks
Usually
great
NES
coming down here.
cartridges
The
only
Italian
fold about
Americans
that
are out
much
to
space
support you,
inside.
but I notice every group's out here.
That's right.
chipsets
The weather,
inside
it doesn't
them
matter.
above this point,
Rain or shine, this
because
parade goes
they,
off
like I
10
said
o'clock.
before, were originally
It
designed
does.
for Famicom.
Were you a little surprised that the flyover came
A
over?
little low there.
It
was,
but in this case, it has to go all the way
We'll
to
let
the top there.
airport
for
noise
an
is
SD
okay
card
today.
reader.
Just for the that one time, 10 o'clock, on Michigan Avenue.
Mayor Guido.
Good job.
SD card.
Thanks for being
This
with
one,
us.
the
Very
Famicom
popular
version
Mayor, Mayor Guido.
uses, SD
Stopping in
mini
to
SD
say
cards.
hello at the,
Right there.
what year is this now? How many years have we been doing
On
this?
here,
About
I
We
10?
have been doing this
preloaded
about
since the
10
last
years.
time
I
I
believe
did
this
this.
is actually the 11th year. We're
This one
looking
has
at
every
the
NES game
at
ever
the
made,
Italian American
all
Club.
on
He
this
came
one
by at
little
an
card.
appropriate time,
Oh,
Mayor
didn't he?
Guido.
So here,
didn't he?
talk about
Use,
timing. This guy
micro
has it all.
SD
Right.
cards.
I think
So
Mrs.
taking
Mayor
micro SD card
and
adapter
kids
here,
are up on the
that
stand.
Right,
Bam,
you have a
take that,
variety of
and I think it
dignitaries
goes
viewing the
in
parade. And we have a break in the
Okay.
parade
And
right
now,
now, and
this
we're going to
cartridge
use
right
that
here
break to
has
hear a
every
word from
NES
some
game
of our
ever made
sponsors.
all in one
Stay with us.
cartridge. Pop it in the NES, provided your NES is clean. Always clean your systems.
Fine cuisine,
Do that. I've got plenty of
the
videos.
hallmark of KC
But
Salad
yeah, if it's all
Bar.
clean, it's all operational.
Established as
Put
the
this
most
in,
exquisite
every
salad
NES
bar in the
game
Midwest
ever.
for
Bam,
years.
you're good to go.
Casey's
And,
now brings
that's pretty
Dearborn,
neat.
dining
And,
at its
yeah,
healthful
let's,
best. A
let's go
dinner
ahead
menu
and try
featuring
that out,
the thrill of
because,
the grill and a creative cuisine that will make Casey's the darling of Dearborn diners.
EverDrive, and
Casey's
there's a few of these
Salad
things.
Bar,
There's
always
one for
the
the
best
Sega
for
Master
lunch.
System. There's
Now,
the Sega Genesis,
even better
32X,
for that
although
special
technically
dinner.
Genesis 32X is the same one. Super Nintendo, even the N64.
Lapinguina, an
There's a
unusual
lot
name
of
for
cool
an unusual deli.
EverDrives out
On
there.
Greenfield, just
And this
north
is
of
just
Michigan,
the biggest
Lapinguina features
Yeah,
the finest
sorry.
deli sandwiches
Well,
on
let's,
bakery
go
fresh
ahead
bread
and,
and
try it
super
out.
party
I've got
subs.
the NES all set up. I
Lapinguina's
apologize for
superior
something
pasta
handheld
dishes
on
are
me.
made fresh every day.
So we're just gonna take the
Delicious
cartridge
deli
and,
trays
pop
feature
it in.
imported and domestic meats and cheeses. Get the best. Lapinguina,
back in. I guess
unusually
that's,
delicious.
one
Open
minor,
weekdays from
super
8:30 to
small
4.
complaint about it is that
Lapinguina, next to the
theory, you'll
Capri
be doing
Bakery.
that a lot by accident, so keep that in mind. Anyway,
And there's a very young supporter looking at the camera. She's not at all impressed with the camera.
No, but
or
she
he?
liked the flag. She was eating the flag a little earlier.
Which takes a minute to
Lots
load.
of, lots of
Now you have
cute
to
kids
organize
bundled
these
up here
folders yourself.
on the corner of Michigan
as you
and
can see here,
Schaefer.
I've got
few
a
of
bunch
us
of
that are
folders.
not kids
I
anymore.
highly
but
recommend
we're
you
bundled up
organize things
too.
this way,
And bundled,
otherwise
right.
Right.
You're gonna run out
Uh-oh,
of
here comes the
pages.
guy with the
This is really
knife.
just a way to
Right, this is the
categorize
Order of
things, 'cause I
Alhambra
think it only supports
Barcelona
like 12
Caravan.
pages. So in theory, you run out of space. So if you
Oh
break it
my
into
goodness, look at
subfolders,
those
then you'll be okay.
machetes, or I'm not sure what they are.
Yes, actually to break into two groups. Now,
Most
they're
of them
going
are-
ahead
I wouldn't
and,
want to
run
argue
a
with
game,
those
I think,
No.
that everyone is
I
pretty
agree.
familiar with.
One guy looked like my
And
butch.
that way you get to see, kind of see, okay, yeah, Legend of Zelda. So you have a few options here. You get some
And this is
information
their
on it, says
musical
the words,
group
says the size,
with them.
this kind of stuff. And
The
yeah.
Order of Alhambra
Go ahead
Barcelona
and, start the
Caravan.
game, which it takes a second to load it, not very long, and then it runs it, just as if it was on the actual hardware.
Over
because,
there, over
frankly,
there.
It is on the actual hardware. The only thing that's different is just the fact that technically it's a ROM file, which is really all that's on a flash card or on a cartridge to begin with.
Over there.
The difference here is that it's reading the data off of SD cards.
One of the big songs from World War I.
A few people will probably ask. You just noticed that I created a save file. Does it support saving?
Coming over.
Yes, it does. I don't think it has a battery
won't be
inside.
back.
I think it does it through flash-based
It's over.
memory. I'm not
Over
really sure how
there.
it works. But if you, quit this game, you load another game, whatever, you don't have to worry about your save getting wiped.
Look
It'll
what's
stay
behind
there,
it.
forever. Forever.
They're doing a little performance
But yeah, so
there.
that's a really nice bonus feature. You don't have to worry about the battery ever dying.
Performing in front of the reviewing
As far as I
stand
know,
here
it
in
goes
the
through
corner of
flash.
Michigan.
Now let's reset and run something else here. So
The Order of Alhambra Barcelona Caravan. And one of their little midget cards.
But yeah, so
It's a Kroger
this
truck.
thing actually not only does it play legit games like you just saw, but it also plays hacked games. Things that weren't ever really meant to run on the NES, but technically can.
Where do these guys do all this? Do you ever see? I never see them practicing. I mean, where do they get all these things together?
I don't know, but this is the group that, again, assists the retarded and helps raise money for the retarded.
A good job they do.
We see them every year at the telethon because they always come and present a check.
And this is basically just a Pac-Man clone using Transformers.
Care for God's special children.
Right, meaning the retarded. Well, they're followed by the Aviation Property Owners Association, and if you remember, Russ, they had a helium balloon. Oh, there comes the balloon.
people
Okay,
understand,
I thought maybe they weren't going to have it this year because of the blustery weather, but they do have it with them. So all of these cars are from the Aviation Property Owners Association.
And where some beautiful, beautiful homes are.
Yes.
Have you ever been through some of those homes?
Wonderful homes. The Wattos had their home tour there this year. Had some lovely homes that were open for viewing.
And of course, there used to be two airports.
Right. And, oh, look, there is the helium balloon. Right in front of it is Jack O'Reilly Jr. waving. He lives over in the aviation subdivision. And it looks like on the truck they have a group of barbershop quartet singers
They're singing.
They're singing, but we can't hear them at all over here. Kind of kind of hard to hear out here in the middle.
Well, but they're having a good
It's kind of
time.
funny. I mean, I don't think anybody would have ever really predicted that one day.
There they are. They're singing away.
Official hardware. It's
And there's Jack O'Reilly.
Let's reset
waving.
again here. Now, I want to show you one other thing. Now, we're on,
Of course, the mayor and all the city council will be running for re-election this year, Russ, and there will be a primary election in September.
Notice that for a second, but that's actually because
Oh,
this is
the balloon is...
Famicom disk drive is an expansion.
It's like they're bringing it down. Maybe they're going to...
I'm not sure what's
Something
happening
called a
with
directing it. It's actually directing the balloon.
I thought they were going to lose it there for a second. I wasn't
Well, when those
sure.
gusts come with them, we may see somebody go see
And
it.
we saw a sign there for Detroit College of Business. Mr. and Mrs. Detroit College of Business
This game specifically
are in the group there.
What are the 3 colleges here?
This game, I
Those are
believe, did
Keith
have a
Blake
cartridge
and
version,
Dion Davis.
And this game, Super Mario Brothers 2, this version,
Detroit College of
never was
Business is an
released
important part of our
outside
community
Japan
for many
until
years over in East
2012.
Dearborn.
Basically,
And that is being followed by the classic trolley.
So I showed you this before.
The manager of Cablevision.
With this
Just stopped up behind us, Rick Clark, great.
But you can
There's
also
the
play
classic
Japanese
trolley.
games, import games, which is really cool.
Okay,
Drives
so there you have
around
it. That's the,
Dearborn,
basically the
Michigan
NES
over the course of
Everdrive.
the summer.
One passenger
Everdrive
today.
N8.
Right.
The full NES version. Really not a whole lot different from the Everdrive, the Famicom
And
Everdrive
it looks
N8,
like
but,
at this point
yeah,
we
it just
have a
fits
break
better.
in the
It's really
parade
aimed more towards
and a
Western
break in the
audiences,
action.
specifically
And this
those
will be a
in,
time to
US and
hear
Canada
from
and,
some
Europe.
of our commercial sponsors. Stay
It's not
tuned.
entirely region free. If you have your 10 nest chip cut inside
Dearborn's
of it, which I
home for
have
office
on this
supplies
NES.
is Schaefer
I've done a
Office
video on
Products,
that as well.
where you'll find
Don't
great
have to do
service,
any kind of
everyday
reading
low
issue.
prices on
However, it's
quality
my
products,
understanding
and a large
that,
selection.
if you
Pens
haven't
are
cut
cheaper
the
by the
chip,
dozen at only
you'll have
83
to
cents
press
a
the
box,
reset
and file
button
folders in a
5
100-count box
times,
are
load
just
up to see if
$3.98.
it's region
Fill up your
code.
copier with
So it will
5,000
work
sheets
either
for
way,
only
but you might have to take
$23.98.
additional
Schaefer
steps.
has furniture for your
I
office,
recommend
candles,
cutting
cards,
down
and
chips.
balloons too. Your home for office products
Other
since
things, it also
1950 were
works
Schaefer
on,
Office Products,
top
just a
loader
half a block
NES.
north of
It
Michigan
works
at
on-
4915
I'm
Schaefer.
pretty sure, I don't have any clone systems, but I'm pretty sure it would work on those as well. It would also work on Famicoms if you can get the appropriate adapters to the pins you fit, but if you want that in your Famicom, odds are you should get the Famicom version just as earlier. So yeah, that's about it. Just a reminder, of course, that I got this from Retro Towers, double check it is in fact facebook.com/retroco. Just so you guys know, as basically a gift to
And
all
welcome
you guys
back.
for watching
And
the
we
video.
are live from the corner
If
of
you
Michigan and
buy
Schaefer,
this
watching
or
Dearborn
anything off
69.
And I think a flyover
That's
is
right.
getting ready to go. I'm not sure.
If you use
Well, we
my
did
name as
see
a
some
coupon
older
code,
World
which is
War II
Adam
type
K.
planes
If you go ahead and
flying
do that,
over.
you get 5% off your
This
order.
is the
No matter what it
Lebanese
is,
American
5%
Club,
off.
as you
You're welcome.
can see.
So that's
there
about it,
is
guys. And as always,
a
thanks for
group
watching.
of people in, again, costumes of the country. The Lebanese American Heritage Club was founded in 1982 by Ali Jawad. The president is Jim.
Hello, this is Adam
Safadi.
Corley with Figured Out
Its
Productions.
objectives
The following
are
video is
sport,
part of our Quick Shoot
education,
series.
Culture,
Hey guys,
and
it's
an
Adam here,
opportunity for
and
people
I have
to
a package.
socialize.
This
It
came
has
from
an
the UK.
educational
This is
scholarship
specifically from
program,
retrotowers.co.uk.
and the program this year
And
was
so
awarded
what my plan here is I'm going to open it up, show you what's inside, and then we'll talk about it, and
They
then
got a guy
hopefully I'll go
playing
check it
soccer
out.
down there.
Let
He's
you know what I
making
think
that
of
ball
it.
right down.
So
Interesting that you
without further
mention that
ado,
because
just
the
go
club
ahead
sponsors
and
the
open this
Dearborn
up.
Star Soccer Team, which is a member of the Michigan
probably should have had
Ontario
scissors,
Soccer
didn't think
League.
of that.
They have 25 players and
Inside,
they've traveled
we
around
have
the world. They have
cartridge.
been to
Let me put that
Hungary.
down. Now,
They have
we have a
taken part
cartridge,
in
and
a
see there's a
variety
business card for
of
retrotowers.co.uk,
games around the world.
which again is where I
They're
got this.
coached by Husan
Now, what is this?
Chiab.
Just
The
looks like
goalie
a Super
name is
Nintendo
Husan
game, right?
Faikin.
Wrong. This is a flash drive. Basically, this is a cartridge that you can put every game for the Super Nintendo ever onto this cartridge.
And here we
play
have the
them all,
Union
or at
of
least most
Lebanese
of them.
Women coming down next
This
to
is
Jackie.
comparable to
And some of
like
the
the
young
Super
youngsters.
UFO, which I did a video
Yes,
on
and
a
they
while
deal with
ago.
women's issues.
And the
and
Super
they have to
Everdrive.
raise funds
Now,
just
why would
for
one need this
Lebanese
many
orphans.
different Super Nintendo flash
The Union
cartridges?
tries to preserve the Lebanese
There's
heritage
differences
through
between
teaching
these.
their
Now,
youth
obviously, I
Arabic
haven't
language
used this
and
new one,
culture, like
but
the
my
Arabic
understanding is
dances.
this is
You know,
most likely
I
the
went
best
over
one
and
out
did
there
some
because
taping
it
over
has an
at
advantage that the others
the
do not.
Lebanese American Club. And it's
Okay,
interesting
so
because one
there's a
of the
lot of
things
Super
they're trying
Nintendo
to
games that
do
use
is
like
to
specialized chips, things like the
have
Super
their
FX chip
children
and
understand their
DSP-1 chips.
heritage,
You know,
because as
some
you know,
games
when
took advantage
once
of
the
this
second
extra
generation
hardware that
of
they would
kids
put
grows up
inside
in a
of
new
these
country,
games.
the heritage is lost.
Not every
And
game.
that's what they're
And
trying
there's
to do.
most games never used it. So most games will run on things like the regular EverDrive and the Super UFO.
And there's a
And those same
flyover by
games, of course,
some
work here.
World War II
But there's also
vintage
games, like I
planes.
said, that use those
Those are
special
probably
chips.
out of,
And those chips are not really
out of
very
the,
easily recreated into flash cards.
Kalamazoo
So a lot of them
Airport.
can't
And hey,
function
there's
on
senior
regular shows. Super
The
EverDrive.
Senior Video Club, right.
Super UFO had an interesting
Winning
way of going around this.
award-winning
It has an
Senior
extra
Video
slot
Club.
on top for a
They
cartridge,
win
so if you
awards
need
every
a
year,
game that uses like a
dressed
Super
in
FX
yellow.
chip,
And
you can put
following
one game with a
behind
Super
them
FX
is the
chip on
Fred
top,
Hill
and then the
briefcase
cartridge
drill
you can
team
load up
from
a ROM
Plymouth,
from
and
a
I
completely
spoke
different
with
game, and
General
just
Fred Hill
use the
on
Super FX
Friday,
chip in
right?
that
They've
cartridge.
been here, right?
This is the
Which is a
first
neat
time
idea.
they've been in our
This one
parade.
goes above and beyond
He
that.
said that they got
It's actually
their
designed
idea from the movie Stripe,
I'm not,
and
you know,
he mentioned
engineer
that
or
Bill
anything,
Murray
but
was his
there's a chip
hero.
inside this that is essentially rewritable.
Aren't they wonderful?
And
The
updatable.
businessmen
So
involved in
over
them,
time, it can actually be compatible with all these games that use really special hardware. As it stands, it actually uses a lot of them. I can't remember
And there they are calling.
offhand, obviously. It
See,
does
Fred
support
Hill
like
is
DSP-1,
General Fred Hill is
DSP-4,
calling out the
and a bunch of other
cases.
ones.
He's
The ones
got
it doesn't support, the only
16
one
men there.
is the Super FX chip. It doesn't support, but supposedly that's coming. It's just a matter of firmware updating it. Now
Aren't
on
they
top,
wonderful?
it has a little
paraded
USB
in
slot. That's for firmware updates. And of course, there's an SD card port.
Downtown
Now,
Detroit, if you remember, they had the
it
Santa
didn't come
Claus
with
hat.
SD cards. I'm actually
They're
just
going to
going
be
to use an
performing
SD
in
card from my
Frankenmuth in
Super
a couple
EverDrive.
of weeks, and they
Now,
performed
this is
the
where you would
Traverse
store
City
all your
Cherry
games.
Blossom Festival. They've gotten quite
All your
notorious over the years
ROMs.
they've been
That's
here.
a really simple process. Once you get them, you just basically
They're
make a folder.
doing
It's
some
called
of their
ROMs or
routines.
games or
The
whatever.
Fred
Just put whatever
Hill
you want inside of it.
drill team.
Organize it, you know, by letter or something.
The
for your own
briefcase
benefit,
drill
but,
team.
Really, it's not
and
like
here
super
we
picky.
see
At least that's my
behind them the
understanding.
Stout Junior
And,
High
then you just
Marching
go ahead
Band.
and pop it in.
Here comes a
That's
flyover,
it.
and the Dearborn
Now, this
Border
has
Railroad
an American
is
style
going by
shell
their
on it.
Right.
So it'll
Three
fit
things going on
right in there.
simultaneously.
My American Super
Right,
Nintendo.
there's some
Now,
of those World
you can
War
order
II
these
games.
with a Super Famicom style
I don't really know.
case
I'm not a
or
plane
a
expert, I
European
have
Super
to
Nintendo
admit.
case. I didn't really bother with that because one, I don't have a European Super Nintendo, and I do have a Super Famicom, but
South
in
Band
all
is
honesty, I
directed
never
by
use it
Eric
because I just
Shea.
want to preserve it. Whereas I have a few Super Nintendos, so I just thought it would look better if that was the way to do it. So yeah. So now like I said, obviously I haven't used it, so I'm gonna try it out and let you know what I think of it. See if there's any like quirks or weird things about it, and see what my recommendation is, especially compared to these other ones that I know are like the Super EverDrive is insanely reliable, and it's made by the same people, so it's probably gonna be really good. But
Village,
here's hoping.
Voted on this
Okay, I've got the
Wednesday, 2
SNES
days
all
from
fired
today,
up here.
April
So
2nd.
this is assuming you've already created a folder for ROMs and you've done all that stuff. So this is what it displays like. It just shows whatever directories you have except for the SD to SNES directory. Now inside you have a bunch of options. Well, 2 options. You have
And this is
system
now we are
information,
seeing the
which
beginning
I'm
of the
showing off
third
here, which
division of
shows
the
that I
parade.
have,
This is the
firmware
Grand Lodge
version
of Free and Accepted
0.4.
Masons of the
And
state of
you can also
Michigan.
adjust the clock and all that, which obviously is wrong. But I don't need I don't need this cartridge to have an accurate clock. So yeah, whatever. And it
Wearing
includes
their
other little
Mason
stats and
aprons.
things that people might find useful. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and go inside the ROMs folder. Now you can see I've individually
And there's one father
organized
with
these
his
things,
kids.
and I highly recommend
They're
you do
probably
that
in,
because if it's
the
anything
Demo
like the
Lay.
previous versions
Right,
of
the
the
Demo Lay
EverDrive,
is,
there's probably a
coming up
file
here.
limit
The
per
Rainbow
folder,
Girls,
so it's a
Job's
good way to break
Daughters,
it down.
and Demo
You may
Lays.
have to,
All
depending
part
on
of
the
the
letter,
Mason Masonic
make
group.
2 like S folders and 2 M folders. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to run a game quick here. Of course,
3,000
it's
people.
everybody's favorite game of all
3,000
time.
marchers in the parade.
Shaq Fu. Everybody
And the
loves
crowd
Shaq
is really
Fu.
thickened up here.
And now this is, of course, just an example of a normal
A
game,
chilly Memorial Day.
not using any kind of special hardware. And as you can see, it
We can all
boots very
stand
quickly.
around the
and
barbecue.
There's nothing weird about it there. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off.
And there's one of
reset.
their
now, if you just press
floats with
reset,
the
this the
Masonic
exact game you already
hat
loaded
going
up.
round.
Turn
The
that
big
off,
Masonic
and
hat.
back on, then you're presented with this
And
menu.
there's some of the clowns that
So
always
now
entertain
let's
the
go
children
ahead
along the
and
parade
we'll try
route.
something else out. Now, this is Super Back
Grottos
to the
of
Future
North
2.
America. Grotto
This was only
Profits help
released
the
in
handicapped
Japan for the Super
child.
Famicom, And
oftentimes people
this is just
ask me,
showing
what
that
are
this thing
service
is
clubs? They
completely
don't realize
free
that all
in
these
sense, so it'll
organizations
play,
get together not only for good fellowship, but also
Japanese or
companionship,
European
but
consoles. So
also to do good
that's
things.
that.
Yes.
Now you'll see down there it said RGB SCART. I'm actually capturing this
This
via
is the Al
RGB SCART to
Montegrotto.
HDMI.
Richard
So it looks
Spalding is
insanely
the
good.
monarch.
And
with the
that's how I
float.
typically do these things. Now let's go ahead and pick.
You know, when you see all these bands, you realize
I'm gonna
where
pick
all
this
these
thing.
young
This is a new
musicians
independent project
get a little bit
called Super
older,
Mario
though.
Odyssey.
Right.
This is fan made, based on Super Mario World, but I'm only gonna show you. A quick
And I
glimpse
think
of it
we
here, just
can.
to make you you can go and find that game for yourself if you're excited.
We
I wanna
can
play
turn
this,
the
'cause I love Super
microphone
Mario World.
over
But that's
to
just an example
the
of this thing's
Masonic
ability to play
Temple
non-legitimate
spokesman who
games,
can talk a
fan
little
product,
bit
stuff
better
that
than we
previously
can,
only
more
emulators
knowingly
could do.
about the groups that are all part of the Masonic
like
Temple.
Super Hedgehog hack there. I'm going to introduce that for a quick second. But now here's an example of Star Fox. Now, like I said, this thing does not support the Super FX chip, so you can't play that yet. And Super Mario RPG, another example of a game you can't play yet. But here, Super Mario Kart, which is one that uses the DSP-1 chip, you can play, which is, like I said, it's pretty unique because most flash cartridges do not support these things, which is really why this is awesome.
Time for final thoughts.
Donald L.
So
Carman.
there's a couple of bad things about the SD
High
to
priest and
SNES,
prophet,
and then it's pretty much
David
entirely
E.
good after that. So I just want
Sauer.
to acknowledge the few bad things and get them out of the way so you're aware of them. The first bad thing
In the
is
second
really just the
convertible, we have
setup.
our recorder.
I've been kind of spoiled in the sense that every time I get one of these
Albert
things, it's usually pre-formatted, and I don't have to deal with anything, or formatting it isn't necessarily complicated.
And then we
Not that
have
this
our
is, but it required a little more
Oriental
research than
guide.
any of the previous ones. In fact, I couldn't even. You saw before. I tried. I thought I could use the SD card from the Super Overdrive on there. For whatever reason, it wouldn't let me do that. Basically, you need an SD card, and you need to create a directory called SD to SNES, and you have to drop in a certain set of files, which you can get on the internet. Look up SD to SNES menu.bin, and you'll be taken to their page, and it'll give you like the full set of files required. So,
That's your
completely legit
1993
stuff.
dive
Basically, you have to download one of those
Temple.
firmwares
Let's give 'em a
and
big
drop
hand.
it into the folder, the appropriate folder. I was having a hell of a time doing that. I don't know why. Every time I would do
Coming
it on
up
this
now,
card,
we
it
have
simply
our
would not
Patrol.
recognize it. So I don't know what
Captain
was
John
up with that.
Young,
I
an
found another
award-winning
SD
marching
card,
drill
and then I
team,
put it on
well
there, and
known for
everything
its
ran
precision
fine. So at
formation.
that point, okay, all good. You will have to go out of your way to find certain... okay, so every one of the Super Nintendo's like extra or odd chipsets has its own
Coming up now, we have our reception unit. Director Ray
firmware,
Bauer,
essentially.
a group of
I know I'm
nobles who
screwing that
provide
up,
the
but
official
a bias
game
thing.
and
Bias,
ushering
thank you.
functions at all
To me.
Muslim temple activities.
You have to down like a DSP1.bin. You have to find all of them on your own, and then you have to put them in that same directory as well. So finding most of them isn't that
Followed by
hard,
the
but there's a
brass
few
band.
out there that are
Director
kind of
Bruce
tricky,
Kussman,
and you're going to
an
have to
assembly
get
of
those
shrine
yourself.
musicians who have won many
In
awards
fact, I couldn't find all of them. I could only find the more common ones. So if you're one of those people that has one of the uncommon BIOS files for the Super Nintendo, please send me a message. I'd love to get those. But you will require those in order to play the games that this thing is more compatible with. So there's a couple, like I said, there's a few problems from the get-go, but once you get past them, it's pretty much smooth sailing, save for one exception. I found that the newest firmware at the time I make this video, which is version like 15 or 1.5, something like that,
Setting in the west, and the junior warden setting in the south.
is somewhat problematic. Like every time I would try to use it, a game would just crash like immediately, and I did some more research and found I wasn't really alone on that. A lot of people said the same thing. So I just downgraded to 14 or 1.4, and everything's been fine since. So, yeah. What I would suggest is that, at least at this point in time, that's what you go with. If they eventually put out 1.6 and 16, and I'm sure they will, then just go with that. Unless that has problems too. But that's where our pluses actually begin. See, in the past, these things, updating the firmware on these things has been very difficult. It was beyond what I could do. My understanding was, you really had to know what you were doing, it required a lot of skills to actually update these things. This one is incredibly simple, even easier than I thought. Like, it has a USB port on it, and I thought you'd have to do it through that. But actually, as it turns out, you can just do it straight through the SD card. All you have to do is put this in your computer, drag and drop files, put it back in the Super Nintendo, and bam, that's it. It updates itself. Very, very simple to update that. And if you update it to the newest thing, like I did, and then that doesn't really work, and you want to go and draw back to the old one, you can do that too. It's very simple in that sense. And from that point, it was very reliable. You know, it would boot up every time, and it would play, you know, like pretty much any game, except for the ones it's still not compatible with. And that leads us into the best option, the best thing, is that this thing, in theory, will be the only flash card to ever be able to support every type of game for the Super Nintendo, which is nothing short of amazing as far as I'm concerned. In the end, I would highly recommend it once you get past those, just a couple little bumps, especially right at the beginning. So yeah, I would say definitely head over to retrotowers.co.uk, look into getting one. I think they're like 180 pounds.
Motor car, the white motorcycle, the motor car.
Or US dollars. I want to say like $250, and I know that's expensive, and that, you know, understandably raises an eyebrow. But again, the idea is that every single Super Nintendo game ever will work with this thing. I can help you out with the price a little bit. If you use my name, which I'll display here, Adam K. If you use that on retrotowers.co.uk, you save 5% off your order, and I hope that helps. So definitely do it if you can, and if you want to. It's a good alternative to collecting the games physically. Now, I know that sounds ironic coming from me, because I obviously like to collect games all the time, but in that sense, this is actually awesome for me, because then I can keep my Super Nintendo collection really nice and minty, and I don't have to, you know, take it out and get usage on it. I can just use this and just play all the same games I've always been playing. Because, you know, that's another thing. You can save on this thing. That's not any kind of issue. It has a battery backup. So really, you're getting the full package here if you really want it. So yeah, I would highly recommend it if you're a big-time Super Nintendo collector and you want to preserve your collection, or if you really like the Super Nintendo but you just don't want to, you know, worry about getting all the cartridges. This thing could be your all-in-one solution. And it also allows you, you know, like you saw earlier in some of that footage, to play things that aren't even like legitimate games, like that Super Mario World Odyssey hack thing, and imports and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's just my overall thoughts on it. I think it's a really good product, and I highly recommend you go to retrotowers.co.uk if you can. So that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later. Figure it out. Hello, this is Adam Corlick with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our quick shoot series. Hey guys, I got a package here that I got from retrotowers.co.uk. Just a couple of things I wanted to get. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And we'll talk more about it. So start off here. Okay, so we got two things. First, we got a game called Doshin the Giant, which is not really the point of this video.
This is the famous number 4 that you heard so much about.
Watch Playload at the end of the month, and I'll talk more about it. But for now, we'll talk about this. This is the EverDrive NX.
Coming into view now, ladies and gentlemen, on top, Director Jeremy Rose. These are the zany Keystone Cops, who are the crowd favorites for circuses and parades.
This is a flash card for the NES. I actually did a video on a similar version of this not too long ago, a little while ago. This is the EverDrive N8. This is the Famicom version. For those who don't know, the Famicom and the NES are essentially the same console. The Famicom is the Japanese version of what we know as the Nintendo Entertainment System was. Now they have different sized pins. This has what commonly referred to as 60-pin connection, and this has 72 pins. The shape is different, but internally they're the same. So you have the choice, depending on what console you have, to buy one version or the other for use in your country or your region, wherever you are. I think it looks pretty good, personally. It was clearly a donor cartridge.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we have the Lancer unit. Director Joel Card. Driving the miniature cars and performing precision drills and maneuvers in parades and in competition.
The board that's in here, not to mention they've also got the label and the place it is very nice. On top of that, it's also got a hole cut right here. It's very heavy.
for an NES cartridge, and there's a simple reason for this. Usually NES cartridges only fill up about that much space inside. The chipsets inside don't really go above this point.
And we are watching the Memorial Day Parade live. This is all part of the Shriners group. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back.
But in this
Stay
case,
with
it
us.
has to go all the way to the top there for an SD card reader, which would explain, of course, the additional weight.
Hair care done right?
Like I said,
Hard to
SD
find.
cards.
Get
This
it
one,
done.
the
Get
Famicom
it done
version,
right.
uses
Where?
mini SD
Copier?
cards.
But do they do it right?
Here,
They do it right. When do they do it?
9 to 9, Monday through Saturday,
this
10
one
to
has
6 on
every
Sunday.
NES
But I'm getting married.
ever made.
They do weddings too. Are they friendly? Oh, yes.
As you
But
saw here,
are
that's
they
obviously
professional?
doesn't
Most
use
definitely. Where do they
So
do
I'll
this?
take the micro SD card adapter here, pop that in, bam, take that, and I think it goes in that way, okay? And now, this cartridge right here has every NES game ever made, all in one cartridge. Pop it in the NES, provided your NES is clean, always clean your systems. If you don't know how to do that, I've got plenty of videos on that. But yeah, if it's all clean, it's all operational, put this in, every NES game ever, bam, good to go. And that's pretty neat. And yeah, let's go ahead and
The
try
Fairlane
that out.
Club,
'Cause,
Dearborn, Michigan.
Yeah, you can't really beat that. I've done this before in the past. with
And
the,
we are back
TurboGrafx
live, and we're
Everdrive,
still
and
watching
there's
some
a
of the
few these
Moslem
things. There's,
performing
one for
units
the Sega Master System, there's
here in
for
this
the
parade,
Genesis,
1993.
Jackie saying she'd like to get in that
Super
car
Nintendo, even
with
the
around on
N64.
that.
That does look like fun, doesn't
It does look like fun.
Everdrive's
It's like a
out there.
wonderful thing to
And this is
do.
just-
Jackie Kaiser, Russ Gibb here at the
Yeah,
Memorial
so
Day Parade in
go out
Dearborn,
there. Let's,
Michigan.
go ahead and try it out.
Brought to you
I've got the
by
NES all set
By
up.
a variety of different people. Dearborn Federal
so we're just gonna take
Savings,
the
Brothers
cartridge and,
Formalware, Fairlane Ford, Andre Appliance, the Salad Bar,
I guess that's
Free Bakery and La Pinguina Deli, Schaefer Office Supply, Century 21, the Fairlane Club, Coiffure Delegane's Little Professor, and Dearborn Schools Adult Support Kids.
I've got the menu up
All
here.
of
And
them.
Cablevision.
And Cablevision of Dearborn as well, right? There you see one of the great little cars the Shriners are using as part of this parade. They always come and perform in front of us.
I highly recommend.
And they must get a lot of
organize
requests,
things
but
this
they
way,
always make this one at 10, and there are a lot of other parades that start at 10. Did they go
Oh,
to
yes.
somewhere else now?
I don't know. I don't know what their plans are, but I know they perform in this parade every year. Oh, Russ, these are the beautiful Arabian night horses.
Then you'll be okay.
You can ride now that you've been out to, was it Arizona or Colorado?
Go ahead and,
Yeah, we
run a
do
game,
ride,
I
although
think, that,
truthfully
everybody's pretty familiar
not
with.
real well because I don't get to do it real frequently. But I do love horses and I love to ride.
So
These
you
are
have a few
beautiful
options
ones.
Aren't
here.
they great?
You can get some information.
Beautiful
on it. It says
animals.
the words, it says the size, all this kind of stuff.
That one just winked at you. It did. That one in white just winked at you.
It takes a second to load it.
The Arabian
Then
Night.
It runs it, just as if it was on the actual hardware, because, well, frankly, it is on the actual hardware. The only thing that's
And
different
this is all kind
the
of the
fact that
tail end
technically it's a
now
ROM
of
file,
the
which is really
Masonic
all that's
Temple
on a flash
performing
card,
units.
or on
This
a
is the Annie
cartridge to
Oakley
begin with.
unit,
The
Ladies
difference
Oriental
here is that
Shrine
it's,
of North
reading all the data
America.
off SD cards. Now, a few people will probably ask, you just noticed that I created a save file. Does it support saving? Yes, it does. I don't think it has a battery inside it. I think it does it through flash-based memory. I'm not really sure how it works.
And they're
But if you,
prepared for foul
quit
weather
this
in
game,
their
you load
various
another
reindeer.
game, whatever. You don't have to worry about your save getting wiped. It'll stay there.
And they are
you know,
coming up
forever.
next is the Hillbilly Clan 21. Which is
but yeah, so that's
Shriners Clan. Outhouse number
Have to
one.
worry about
And yes,
battery
you can
number
see
nine.
the outhouse being pulled along, or you'll
As far as
see
I
it
know,
shortly,
Now let's
being
reset
pulled
and,
along in the
something
float.
else here.
Well, you know, they're going to make a remake of the Beverly Hillbillies. They're
Yes,
going to be a
that's
movie.
right. Yes.
So they'll all be stars next year.
But yeah, so this thing actually
Lots
not
of
only does
people
it play
waving
legit
in the
games that you
parade.
saw, but it also plays hacked games.
And there you see the Hillbilly Clan 21.
That's the outhouse.
That's the outhouse.
You don't remember those. I remember those, Jackie.
Pac-Man hack.
Yep, you used to have the Sears Robux catalog.
Is that right?
You always carried it in there.
I see.
You figure out why.
Yeah, I think I
I'm
can.
a big Transformers
It's your
fan.
reading material.
I love it. And this is a basically just a Pac-Man clone using Transformer characters, specifically Unicron.
And this is all part of the Hillbilly Clan's unit.
The only good Transformers movie
Vehicle.
ever made. That movie is.
And I know that the Shriners raise money. This is their large bus, their Cara Cruiser. I know that they raise money for burn victims.
Well, they do so much good work. I mean, they're out helping all the time. Isn't that a beautiful vehicle? Cara Cruiser.
Yes, the bus is used to take their kids to hospitals, to their various hospitals around the country.
That doesn't mean it's going to replace actual that's just my gaming experience.
Since 1922, the Shriners have built a network of orthopedic and burn hospitals. They offer quality care and treatment to all children. And that large bus is used to take them there. Players Guild of Dearborn. Players Guild salutes our vets today, and there are some of their young, the Guildlings, who have been on Focus on Dearborn on rollerblades. Cute kids.
I see a little Elvis walking down here. I wonder if we can get a picture of him. There he is.
See
In the
him on
corner.
the
He's always
street, right?
kicking. Yeah, he just moved down the picture.
Which I'll talk about in a minute. But I have two
Some of the
reasons.
little Guildlings.
I don't know if you noticed that for a second, but that's actually because this is a Famicom disk drive. Famicom disk drive is an expansion for the NES. Well, not for the Famicom, released in Japan that we never got over here. It played like these floppy disks.
Part of the Players Guild.
And with this, you can actually run those games. That library of games will run on your NES.
Good group of people.
This flash card, which is really, really cool. Now, this game specifically, I also showed you for another reason. This game, I believe, did have a cartridge version, and this
That's not Sanders Faxon.
This one
Faxon?
never was
I don't
released
know. I don't
Very
know.
active theater in Michigan.
Perhaps it is. And coming up next for us are the DARE vehicles. DARE stands for Drug Abuse Resistance Education, a program that's nationwide, has recently become part of the Dearborn Public Schools.
Okay, so there you have it. That's the
Mark Stewart
basically
Keating
the
is
NES
the instructor and coordinator.
N8. The full NES.
We've got some vehicles here from Livingston County as well.
Famicom Overdrive.
And the boat, the Bayliner
Yeah, it
boat,
just fits better.
is part of the Livingston County DARE office.
U.S. and Canada. And
Drug Abuse Resistance
It's
Education.
not entirely region-free. If you have your 10 NES chip cut inside of it, which I have.
Active part of the Dearborn schools at this point.
However, it's my understanding that if you haven't cut the chip, you'll
There's
have to
that
press
boat,
the reset
Livingston
button
County.
5 times. when
And
you
there's
load it
the
up to
Dearborn
change its
police
region
vehicle.
code. So it will work either way.
Says
but you
Dearborn
might have to
Police,
take an
nice
additional
red
step.
vehicle.
I recommend cutting the 10 NES chip personally. Other things, it also works on the top loader NES. It works
And
on
what's
it-
coming
I
up
would-
next
I'm
are
pretty
the
sure.
Cub
I don't have
Scouts.
the clone systems, but I'm pretty
The
sure it would
Scout
work on
unit.
those as well.
This is the
if I
Cherry
had no
Hill
idea, it would also
United
work on Famicoms
Presbyterian
if you
Church.
had,
Pack
the appropriate
1111.
adapters to make the pins fit, but if you want that,
I wonder if they still go out camping and make that Mrs. Grass's noodle soup. Remember that?
So yeah, that's about it.
Go camping, we always have Mrs. Grass's noodle soup. There they
are. Just so you guys know,
Excuse me.
basically a gift
And there we are,
card.
followed by
Watch on
Pack
video.
1112.
If you buy this or anything off of
with a very nice,
lefforgotten.co.uk.
nicely painted banner. Look at all their hands. I don't know if you can get a tight shot of that banner, but there are lots of hands painted on it.
I'll bet they had fun doing that.
So that's
oh, look at it. There they go.
Such exuberance.
I'll take about 1/8 of that energy this morning, please. And the moms and dads that make it all possible.
Hello, this is Adam Korlick with Figured Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series. Hey guys, it's Adam here, and I have a package. This came from the UK. This is specifically from retrotowers.co.uk.
And
so what my plan here is I'm going to open it up, show you what's inside, and then we'll talk about it, and then hopefully I'll go check it out and let you know what I think of it. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and open this up. And probably should have had scissors, didn't think of that.
inside we have a cartridge.
And pack 1127
now,
from
a cartridge
Sacred
and
Heart
see this
School.
business
Of course, they're all
card
from
for
different schools.
retro-towers.co.uk, which again is where I got this.
Well, they got some
now,
guys
what is
on
this? Just looks like a
rollerblades.
Super Nintendo game, right? Wrong.
That's
This
the easy
is
way
a
to go.
flash drive. Basically, this is a cartridge that you can put every game for the Super Nintendo ever onto this cartridge and play them all, or at least most of them. This is comparable to like the
And
Super
there's pack
UFO, which I did a video on a
1128
while ago,
Long School.
and the Super EverDrive. Now, why would one need this many different Super Nintendo flash cartridges? There's differences between these. Now, obviously, I haven't used this new one, but my understanding is this is most likely the best one out there because it has an advantage that the others do not. Okay, so there's a lot of Super Nintendo games that use like specialized chips, things like the Super FX chip and DSP-1 chips. You know, some games took advantage of this extra hardware that they would put inside of these games.
That's obviously their
Not every game. I mean, most games never used it. So most games will run on things like the regular EverDrive and the Super UFO. And those same games of course work here. But there's also games, like I said, that use those special chips, and those chips are not really very easily recreated into flash cards. So a lot of them can't function on the regular Super EverDrive. The Super UFO had an interesting way of going around this. It has an extra slot on top for a cartridge, so if you need a game that uses like a Super FX chip, you could put one game with a Super FX chip on top, and then the cartridge, you could load up a ROM from a completely different game, and it would just use the Super FX chip in that cartridge.
We're taking the award away from the little guy.
This one goes above and beyond that. It's actually designed to. I'm not an engineer or anything, but there's a chip inside this that is essentially rewritable and updatable. So over time, it can actually be compatible with all these games that use really special hardware. As it stands, it actually uses a lot of them. I can't remember offhand, obviously. It does support like DSP-1, DSP-4, and a bunch of other ones. The ones it doesn't support, the only one I remember offhand is the Super FX chip it doesn't support. But supposedly that's coming. It's just a matter of firmware updating it. Now on top, it has a little USB slot. That's for firmware updates. And of course, there's an SD card port.
But I tell the girls who sell them that when I told them they were 50
didn't come with an SD
cents
card, so I'm
above,
actually just going to use an SD card from my Super EverDrive.
Good.
Now, this is where you would store all of your games. All your ROMs. And that's a really simple process. Once you get them, you just basically make a folder. It's called ROMs or games or whatever.
But there you see some of our local dignitaries.
Organize
Mayor
it,
by
letter or something for your own benefit.
Jeremy
but
Hughes,
really, it's
Doug,
not like super picky. At least that's my understanding. And then you would just go ahead and pop it in, and that's it. Now, this has an American-style shell on it, so it'll fit right in there.
Daisy Troop 1295.
Now, you can order these with a like a Super Famicom style case or a European Super Nintendo case. I didn't really bother with that because one, I don't have a European Super Nintendo, and I do have a Super Famicom, but in all honesty, I never use it because I just want to preserve it. Whereas I have a few Super Nintendos, so I just thought it would look better if that was the way to do it. So now, like I said, obviously I haven't used it, so I'm going to try it out and let you know what I think of it, see if there's any like quirks or weird things about it, and see what my recommendation is, especially compared to these other ones that I know are like the Super EverDrive is insanely reliable, and it's made by the same people, so it's probably going to be really good. But
they are going to be followed.
Okay, I've got the SNES all fired up here. So this is assuming you've already created a folder for ROMs and you've done all that stuff. So this is what it displays like. It just shows whatever directories you have except for the SD to SNES directory. Now inside you have a bunch of options. Well, two options. You have system information, which I'm showing off here, which shows that firmware version 0.1.4, and you can also adjust the clock and all that, which obviously is wrong.
When you see down
need
to the end of these
this cartridge to have an
there
accurate
is
clock.
The smallest
whatever.
twirler I've
and it
ever
includes
seen in
other
my
little
life.
stats
At
and
the
things
end
that
are the
people might
small
find useful.
ones.
Yeah, I think
Anyway, enough of that.
Coming up.
Let's go ahead and go inside the ROMs folder. Now you can see I've individually, organized these things, and I highly recommend you do that because if it's anything like the previous version of the EverDrive, There's probably
I was
a
going to
file
comment
limit
too
per
this
folder,
year. I do
so it's a
believe
good way
this
to break
parade
it
is
down.
moving faster
You may
than
have
it
to,
has
depending
in
on the letter,
some other years, and I'm assuming that's
like
because
S
the weather is
folders and M folders.
so wonderful and it's chilly.
So I'm
People
just
want
going
to
to run
keep
a
moving
game
when
quick
it's
here. Of
chilly.
course,
Yeah, there hasn't been
everybody's
any
favorite
big
game of all
delays.
time.
No.
Right down
And we've got the
Shaq
Divine
Fu,
Child
everybody
High
loves
School
Shaq Fu.
Band coming up.
And now this is, of course, just an
Michigan
example
Avenue.
of a normal game.
Wonderful red and black.
Not using any kind of special
uniform.
hardware. And as you can see, it boots very quickly, and there's nothing weird about it there. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off and reset.
Of course,
Now, if
for
you just
the
press
seniors
reset,
in all
this
of these
the
high
exact game
schools,
you already
this is
loaded
their
will come back on.
probably their
Off,
last
turn it back
official
on,
band
this
function
menu again.
that they take part in.
So now let's go ahead and we'll try something else out. Now this is Super Back to the Future 2. This was only released in Japan.
Leo
for the Super
Talio is the
Famicom,
director of the
and,
Divine Child Band.
This is just showing that this thing is
And they are
completely
approaching
region-free in
us
that
here.
sense, so it'll play, Japanese and European games on American console, of course, American games on Japanese and European console. So that's that. Now you'll see down there it said RGB SCART. I'm actually capturing this via RGB SCART to HDMI, so it looks insanely good. And yeah, that's how I typically do these things. Now let's go ahead and pick another game. I'm going to pick this thing. This is a new independent project called Super Mario Odyssey. This is fan-made, based on Super Mario World, but I'm only going to show you a quick really. You can go and find that game for yourself if you're excited to play this, because I love Super Mario World. But that's just an example of this thing's ability to play non-legitimate games, fan projects, stuff that previously only emulators could do. This thing can do. Like Super Sonic Hedgehog hack there. I don't know if you noticed that for a quick second. But yeah, now here's an example of Star Fox. Now, like I said, this thing does not support the Super FX chip, so you can't play that yet. And Super Mario RPG, another example of a game you can't play yet. But here, Super Mario Kart, which is one that uses the DSP-1 chip, you can play. Which is,
they are
like
followed
I said,
by
it's pretty
Janet's
unique
twirling
because
sweetheart.
most
We've got
flash
more
cartridges do
twirlers
not
here,
support
Russ.
these things, which is really why this is awesome.
There must be something about that twirl.
So there's a couple of bad things about the SD.
They're in their red, white, and blue uniform.
Good after that. So I just want to acknowledge the few bad things and get rid of this.
They have their medals
The first bad thing is really just the setup. I've been kind of spoiled in the sense that every time I get one of these things, it's usually pre-formatted, and I don't have to deal with anything, or formatting it isn't necessarily complicated. Not that this is, but it required a little more research than any of the previous ones. In fact, I couldn't even, you saw before, I tried to, I thought I could use the SD card from the Super EverDrive on there. For whatever reason, it wouldn't let me do that. Basically,
It's all part of
you
Janet's
need an
twirling
SD card,
sweetheart.
and you need to create a directory called SD to SNES. And you have to drop in a certain set of files, which you can get on the internet. If look up SD to SNES menu.bin, and you'll be taken to their page, and it'll give you like the full set of files required.
And they perform every year.
Completely legit
Great.
stuff.
Another
Basically, you have to
tradition.
download
A
one
lot
of those
groups that
firmware
we see come every
and
year.
drop it into
Fred
the
Hill's,
folder, the appropriate folder.
haberdashery drill team was new this
I was
year,
having a hell of a
but,
time doing that. I don't
a lot
know
of
why.
the groups
Every
that
time
come
I would
by
do it on
every
this
year, we
card,
hope
it
you're
simply would not
enjoying
recognize
our
it. So
live
I don't
coverage
know what
of
was
the
up with that.
69th annual
I found
Memorial
another
Day
SD
Parade. We're
card,
going to
and then I
take a
put it
quick
on
break.
there, and
We'll
everything ran
return right
fine.
after
So
this.
at that point, okay, all good. You will have to go out of your way to find certain. Okay, so every one of the Super Nintendo's like extra or odd chipsets has its own
friendly hello. They've got a great variety of books, and if they don't have it in stock,
firmware
they'll even
essentially.
order it for me.
I know
While
it's
I'm in
screwing
there,
out,
I even
but
try
a
my luck
bias
on the
thing.
lotto.
Bias thing.
Little Professor's selection is like so huge.
You have to down like a DSP1.bin. You have to find all of them on your own, and then you have to put them in that same directory as well. So finding most of them isn't that hard, but there's a few out there that are kind of tricky, and you're going to have to get those yourself.
June 2nd election.
In fact, I couldn't find all of them. I can only find the
If
more
we want
common
to achieve a certain
So,
level of excellence,
if you're one of
in
those
public
people
schools,
that has
we
one of
need
the
to have
uncommon
knowledge base.
BIOS files for
Number
the Super
two,
Nintendo,
Y22
please send me a message. I'd love to
because
get
it
those.
restores the already
But you will
approved
require
rates
those in order to
1988
play
from last September of
the
92,
games
and
that
it
this thing
gives
is
the
more
funding
compatible with.
necessary to
So
achieve that level
there's a
of
couple, like I said,
excellence
there's a
in
few
public schools.
problems from the
Now,
get-go,
kids
but once you
cannot
get
vote for
past them,
themselves.
it's
It is
pretty
up
much
to
smooth
us to
sailing,
act.
save for one exception. I found that the newest
welcome
firmware at
back.
the
And
time
right
I
in
make
the
this
front of
video,
that
which is
group there, you
version
can
like
see the
15 or
Fairlane
1.5, something like
YMCA
that.
Indian
I
Guide.
don't remember if it's 15 or 1.5.
This is part of the Dearborn
Is somewhat
Memorial Day
problematic.
Parade,
Like every time I
followed
would
by
try to use it, the
Dearborn's
game would just
Children's
crash like immediately,
Nursery.
and I
in
did some
the
more
van,
research and
and
found I wasn't
followed by
really
a
alone
very
on that. A lot
special
of people said
group
the same thing.
behind
So I just downgraded
Dearborn
to 14
Children's
or
Nursery,
1.4, and
Dearborn
everything's
Children's
been fine
Nursery. There
since.
you can see them
So,
in the blue and the gold.
yeah.
This is the Great
What I would
Lakes Figure
suggest is
Skating
that,
Club, Russ, and
at
I
least at
think
this
this
point
is
in
an appropriate
time, that's
group
what
to
you
be
go
in
with.
this
And if
parade.
they eventually put
These
out
are group
1.6 and 16,
precision
I'm
ice
sure they will.
skaters. They're
Then just go with
sponsored
that.
by the Dearborn
Unless that has
Recreation
problems,
Department.
too.
They have traveled around the
But
world
that's
and
where our
won
pluses actually
numerous
begin.
awards.
See,
They
in the
came
past,
in
these things,
first.
firmware,
Their
updating the
junior
firmware on
group
these things has
came
been very
in first.
difficult. It was beyond what I
Last year
could do.
in the
My
national
understanding was, you
competition,
really had to know what
their
you were doing,
senior
and it required a lot of
division
skills to actually
Crystal
update
came
these things.
in
This
third
one is
this
incredibly
year
simple,
in the
even
national
easier than I thought. Like, it has an
Their novice
USB
group
port
came
on
in
it,
second this year.
and I thought you'd have to do it
Coaches
through
are
that, but
marching in the
actually,
middle
as
of
it
the
turns
weekend
out,
to
you
take them
can just do
out.
it straight through the SD card.
But
Right?
this
You
is
just
a
put this
Crystal
in your
X, the
computer,
Great Lakes
drag and
Figure
drop
Skating
files,
Club.
put it back in the Super Nintendo, and bam, that's it. It updates itself.
Dearborn
Very, very simple
looking
to
good,
update
and
that. And
they
if
got
you,
the American
update to the
Flyer
newest
and the-
thing
and the
like I
truck.
did, and then that doesn't really work.
Little,
Go
wagon.
draw back to the old one.
Radio
You can do that too.
flyers. There they
It's
go.
very simple in that sense. And from that point, it was very reliable. You know, it boot up every time, and it would play like pretty much any game, except for the ones it's still not compatible with. And that leads us into the best option, the best thing, is that this thing, in theory, will be the only flash card to ever be able to support every type of game for the Super Nintendo, which is nothing short of amazing as far as I'm concerned. In the end, I would highly recommend it once you get past those, just a couple little bumps, especially right at the end. So yeah, I would say definitely head over to retrotowers.co.uk, look into getting one. I think they're like 180 pounds. I don't remember exactly what that is in dollars.
Over here. He's a World War II.
I want to say like 250, and I know that's expensive, and that, you know, understandably raises an eyebrow. But again, the idea is that every single Super Nintendo game
honorary
ever
crew member
will
and to
work
be
with this thing.
25.
I can help you out with the price a little bit. If you use my name, which I'll display here, Adam K,
We'll have to keep an
use
eye
that
out.
on
There's Barney
retrotowers.co.uk, you save 5%
Dinosaur,
off your order.
Kids will love Barney.
So definitely do it if you can, and if you want to. It's a good alternative to collecting the games physically. Now, I know that sounds ironic coming from me because I obviously like to collect games all the time, but in that sense, this is actually awesome for me because then I can keep my Super Nintendo collection really nice and dainty, and I don't have to, take it out and get, usage on it. I can just use this and just play all the same games I've always been playing.
They all want to touch Barney.
That's another thing. You can save on this thing. That's not any kind of issue. It has a battery backup.
They want to see
so
Barney.
really, you're getting the full package here.
Everybody wants to touch Barney.
So, yeah, I would highly recommend it if you're a big-time Super Nintendo collector and you want to preserve your collection, or if you really like the Super Nintendo and you just don't want to, worry about getting all the cartridges. This thing could be your all-in solution. And it also allows you, like you saw earlier in some of that footage, to play things that aren't even
I don't know. I'm not a watcher every day. I have to admit, right? But Barney is purple, as you can see.
Yeah, that's just my overall thoughts on it. I think it's a really good product, and I highly recommend you go to retrotowers.co.uk.
Barney has a girlfriend.
So that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Butterfly the Clown.
Boy, the kids are coming out to see Barney, I'll tell you that.
And there we have a beauty queen.
Hello,
What
this
would
is
this
Adam
parade
Corlett with
be
Figured Out
without a
Productions.
beauty
Following
queen?
video is part of our quick shoot series.
Hey guys, I got a package here that I got from Retro Towers.
Alicia Ryan, Miss Junior Teen, Northern USA.
So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and then we'll take it and catch that.
There it is, B-25. There it is on TV right now.
So
right,
we got two things. First, we got a game
and I
called
believe
Giant,
that's if
which,
we're right. George Bondi, U.S. World War II veteran, Dearborn resident, is flying it as an honorary crew member.
For now.
And here we have the
This is the EverDrive N8
Junior Girl Scout Troop 802 from Livonia. With a float that says Pride in American History, and they've got a variety of pictures on their float.
Anyway, this is a flash card for the NES. I actually did a video on a similar version of this not too long ago,
A little chilly
This is the
for
EverDrive
Memorial
N8.
Day,
This is the
isn't it,
Famicom
Russ?
version.
And there's another beauty queen, Jenny Grendon, Dance Masters of Michigan, Teen Miss Dance 1993, Katie O'Connell, Junior Miss Dance of Michigan.
Katie O'Connell, I wonder if that could be
a little Irish.
Shape is different,
a little
but internally
Irish,
they're the
right.
same. So
and there's
you have the
Miss
choice,
Dance
depending
of
on what console you
Michigan.
have, to buy one version or the other for use in your country,
coming up,
your region, wherever you are.
Your favorite band, Russ, right?
Well, I'm torn between all three, actually, because I have kids from all three high schools.
I know.
But this is Dearborn High.
The Pioneers.
Pioneers.
Chipset inside.
Jeff Oshnock is the director.
On top of that, it's also got a cold cover. It's very heavy from the NES cartridge, and there's just a reason for this. Usually the NES cartridges will fill about that much space inside. Chipsets inside because they, like I said before, were usually designed for Famicom, which is much smaller. They'll bring in different shapes. But in this case, it has to go all the way to the top there. SD card. Said SD cards. This one, the Famicom version, uses SD cards. On here, I've already preloaded since the last time I did this one. This one has every NES game ever made, ever, all on this one card. Now, as you saw here, that's obviously doesn't make
One of my best computer kids.
Yeah, he does it. Bam, take that.
And the boat there is being pulled by the Dearborn Power Squadron. Their float theme is a salute to all veterans. And of course, the Dearborn Power Squadron, remembering the veterans, also reminds us about the importance of safe boating.
But yeah, if it's all clean, it's all operational. Put this
Now,
in.
look, we have a variety of vintage cars.
Oh boy, that's pretty neat. And
I love the trucks.
Let's go ahead and try that out because
this is the Antique Automobile Club of America, the Wolverine.
There's one for the Sega
This is a truck, a little miniature truck.
Super Nintendo, even the N64. There's a lot of cool EverDrives out there, and this is just the newest one. Yeah, sorry. Let's go ahead and...
We've got 17 antique vehicles. Lloyd Tyson is the coordinator of this group. We have some 1927 Model Ts and a variety of Model A's, 28, 29, 30.
Super small complaint about it is that in theory you'll be right now.
It's a 1946 Lincoln.
Wow, look at that baby.
So,
owned by Warren Wright. We've got a 47 Lincoln as well, right behind it.
Which takes a minute to load. Now you have to organize these folders yourself.
Oh, and there's a Lincoln Continental. Oh, that's my dream car.
I highly recommend
Look at it.
Isn't that wonderful?
Get that maroon one.
This is really
never mind.
keep it
Stop waiting.
categorized. I think it only supports like 12 pages.
Let me see.
So in theory, you run out of space. So if you break it
A
into
variety of
subfolders,
17 different antique vehicles from the Wolverine region of the Antique Automobile Club of America.
Run a game. I think that everyone is pretty
Their antique car? I used to have one.
A 63 Thunderbird.
Okay, yeah, Legend of Zelda. So you have a few options here. Get some information on it. Says that it works. It says the size, all this kind of stuff. And yeah, just go ahead and start.
Did we see the Mercedes convertible? Has that gone by
I don't
yet?
think so.
Okay, that's still coming. Okay.
Is that a Cadillac or is that a LaSalle, that black car?
Well, frankly, it is on the actual hardware. The only thing that's different is
I don't see a Cadillac, a 59 Cadillac. Might that be? No, that's older.
Or on a cartridge to begin with. The difference here is that it's reading all the data off SD cards. Now,
and they got the lights going for
a few people will probably ask, you just noticed that I created a save file. Does it support save?
See, it is a
yes,
Cadillac.
It does.
Cadillac
I don't think it has a battery inside. I think it is
well, what you're seeing there coming up up Michigan Avenue in the air are these Huey helicopters.
Whatever. You don't
Who's up in a cherry picker today?
That's Dave Allen up there today.
Dave Allen? Okay.
Unless you delete it. But yeah, so that's a really nice bonus feature.
Oh, now the car that's coming up here, there's a 1928. We want to make sure we get a shot.
Mercedes.
Yeah, that's Jim Cape, Dearborn resident, is driving it, and in the vehicle with Jim is Cynthia Canty from Channel 50. And it's a 1928 Mercedes convertible that he's driving.
This thing actually not only does it play legit games.
That's one of those
but
kit
it also
cars, though.
plays
That's a
hacked
remake
games, things that weren't
Is it?
really
Yeah,
meant to
it's a
be
remake.
really
I don't think that's an original. Beautiful
Such
car.
example is this game. This is a Pac-Man hack.
Now you can hear those helicopters. Huey helicopters.
They may land right on us.
This is
Well, I can hear them, but I can't. Oh, here comes the B-25 over, and the helicopters below them.
And we've got the Cycling Saddlemen Bicycling Club of Dearborn.
That's actually still memorial.
40 or more bicyclists.
And I see them going up and down how to drive all the time.
Good exercise. And there are some, I love the ones where they get to carry the little kids
That's
behind.
great. And it's completely waterproof.
Right.
Actually going out and getting authentic cartoons, because that's just my gaming experience. That's the way I like it.
And now we've got the 4th division of the parade starting with the Loyal Order of Moose, Dearborn 1620.
Well, this is the Marine Color Guard coming up here.
This is the Floating Army Reserve Tank, sponsored by the Army Recruiting Station. I don't see the tank, Les.
Well,
it's one of the Humvees, though.
Yeah, the Humvees
Anyway, let's reset again here. Now I'm going to show you one other thing.
These must be a reserve fellas, right?
I would assume so, yes.
I have two reasons for showing that.
Here's the
notice that
Moose.
for a second, but that's actually
1620.
because this is a Famicom disc drive game.
With the moose on the float.
An expansion for the
Looks like Northern Exposure.
released in Japan.
Now, coming up the street will be the 3rd U.S. Infantry Ceremonial Guard. These are the people that you saw performing at 9:30 on the street in the rain this morning. The color guard is first, followed by the Old Guard, the U.S. Army Fife and Drum Corps. There you see the color guard of the 3rd U.S. Infantry Ceremonial Unit.
So I showed you this because
perfect dress.
It's really quite an honor for them to be here in Dearborn, Michigan on Memorial Day rather than in Washington.
Well, they're a marvelous group.
They are absolutely wonderful.
When you watch, they not only do American marching maneuvers, but they do Old English or English.
These are authentic Revolutionary War costumes.
This is really aimed more toward Western audiences, specifically those in the U.S. and Canada and Europe.
Fife, drum, and bugle is what we hear.
And they have men and women in that organization.
10S chip cut inside of it, which I have on this NES. I've done a video on that as well. You don't have to deal
And
with
I think they may perform for us as well here.
that if you haven't
Well,
cut
the
chip,
rain has
you'll
stopped,
have to press the
and the
reset
pavement
button
is dried
5
off, so it's
times
making it a little
when you
easier
load it
for
up
the
to
folks.
change its region code.
Here
So
at the
it will
Memorial
work
Day
either way,
Parade,
but you might
Dearborn,
have to
Michigan.
And this is the other part
I
of their
recommend
group,
cutting
the
it
U.S. Army drill team.
Other things, it also works on the top loader NES. It works on, I would,
Now, you know,
pretty
quietly
sure, I
to
don't have
themselves,
any
they're all
phone
counted.
system,
Are you aware of that?
I'm pretty sure
Everything's done by numbers. Every time you take a step, they count a number. And every movement is a number for saying quiet. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8.
There are some of our local dignitaries applauding.
Odds are you should get the earlier. So yeah, that's about it. Just want to remind you, of course, that I got this from metrotowers.co.uk, and I double checked it is in fact facebook.com/metrotower.
Sharp looking
so
up.
You guys know, basically a gift to all you guys for watching the
Now,
video.
I wouldn't mind having one of those some mornings on the expressway.
These are the Air Force pilots, the 303rd MP Command from Jackson, Michigan.
5% off.
And by the way, that's a very popular car on Hollywood. You can buy something similar. And that's the status car they have. Never mind anything else. That's the Humvee.
Hello, this is Adam Corlick with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our quick shoot series. Hey guys, it's Adam here, and I have a package. This came from the UK. This is specifically from retrotowers.co.uk. And so what my plan here is I'm going to open it up, show you what's inside, and then we'll talk about it, and then hopefully I'll go check it out and let you know what I think of it. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and open this up. I wish I had scissors, didn't think of that. Oh, it looks like it's inside. We have cartridge. Now, we have a cartridge, and see there's the business card for retrotowers.co.uk, which again is where we got this. Now, what is this? It just looks like a Super Nintendo game, right?
Yes, I have.
This is a flash drive. Basically, this is a cartridge that you can put every game for the Super Nintendo ever
and they have a float
onto this cartridge and play them all, or at least most of them. This is comparable to like the Super UFO, which I did a video on a while ago, and the Super EverDrive. Now, why would one need this many different Super Nintendo flash cartridges? There's differences between these. Now, obviously I haven't used this new one, but my understanding is this is most likely the best one out there because it has an advantage that the others do not. Okay, so there's a lot of Super Nintendo games that use like specialized chips, things like the Super FX chip and DSP-1 chips. You know, some games took advantage of this extra hardware that they would put inside of these games. Not every game. I mean, most games never used it. So most games will run on things like the regular EverDrive and then the Super UFO. And those same games, of course, work here. But there's also games, like I said, that use those special chips. And those chips are not really very easily recreated in flash cards, so a lot of them can't function on the regular Chelsea Super EverDrive. The Super UFO had an interesting way of going around this. It has an extra slot on top for a cartridge, so if you need a game that uses like a Super FX chip, you can put one game with a Super FX chip on top, and then the cartridge, you can load up a ROM from a completely different game, and it would just use the Super FX chip in that cartridge, which is a neat idea. This one goes above and beyond that. It's actually designed to, I mean, I'm not an engineer or anything, but there's a chip inside this that is essentially rewritable and updatable. So over time, it can actually be compatible with all these games that use really special hardware. As it stands, it actually uses a lot of them. I can't remember offhand, obviously. It does support like DSP-1 through, I think, DSP-4, and a bunch of other ones. The ones it doesn't support, the one I remember offhand, is the Super FX chip it doesn't support, but supposedly that's coming. It's just a matter of firmware updating it. Now, on top, it has a little USB slot. That's for firmware updates. And, of course, there's an SD card port. Now, it didn't come with an SD card, so I'm actually just going to use an SD card from my Super EverDrive. Now, this is where you would store all of your games, all your ROMs, and that's a really simple process. Once you get them, you just basically make a folder. It's called ROMs or games, whatever, inside of it. Organize it, you know, by letter or something for your own benefit, but really, it's not like super picky. At least that's my understanding. And then you can just go ahead and pop it in, and that's it. Now, this has an American-style shell on it, so it'll fit right in there.
Well, that tank looks like it's World War I.
Now, you can order these with like a Super Famicom style case or a European Super Nintendo case. I didn't really bother with that because, one, I don't have a European Super Nintendo. And I do have a Super Famicom, but in all honesty, I never use it because I just want to preserve it. Whereas I have a few Super Nintendos, so I just thought it would look better if that was the way to do it. So now, like I said, obviously I haven't used it, so I'm going to try it out and let you know what I think of it, see if there's any like quirks or weird things about it, and see what my recommendation is, especially compared to these other ones that I know are, like Super EverDrive is insanely reliable, and it's made by the same people, so it's probably going to be really good. You know, here's hoping.
Okay, I've got the SNES all fired up here. So this is assuming you've already created a folder for ROMs and you've done all that stuff. So this is what it displays like. It just shows whatever directories you have except for
and there's a switch. The guy in the camera has got a video
inside
camera.
You have a bunch of options.
He's taking pictures of us.
Right.
You have system information, which
and this is
here, which shows that I have firmware version 0.1.4.
before.
Vehicles.
And you can also adjust the clock
way in
and
the
all that,
background
which,
in the corner of it,
obviously
there are the
wrong,
helicopters
but
again.
I don't
Right.
need the I don't need this
Coming over.
to have an accurate clock. So yeah, and it includes other little stats and things that people might find useful. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and go inside the
And
rooms.
they are
now you
kind
can
of
see
low.
I've
And the
individually,
last band of the parade is the Bryan Junior High School Band, directed by Rick Pierce.
That's a big band. There's probably a file limit per folder, so it's a good way to break it down. You may have to, depending on the letter, two like S folders and two M folders. So I'm just going to run a game quick here. Of course, it's everybody's favorite game of all time.
And the Bryan Band.
Shaq Fu.
And there's the band,
Shaq Fu.
Get them back.
And now this is, of course, just an example of a normal
that Russian cover.
not using any kind of special hardware. And as you can see, it boots very quickly. There's nothing weird about it there. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off and reset. Now, if you just press reset, the exact game you already loaded will come back on. If you turn it off and turn it back on, then you're presented with this menu again. So now let's
look at all the
go
smoke
ahead
coming
and
from these
try something
vehicles,
else.
Russ.
Now, this is Super Back to the Future 2.
Following
This
the
was
Bryan
only released
Junior
in
High
Japan
Band.
for the Super Famicom, and
now I think these must
this
be
is just
current
showing
vehicles.
that this thing is completely region-free.
These
in that
are
sense,
various
so it'll play
tanks.
Japanese and European games on American console, and those American games on Japanese or European consoles. So
The
that's
light
that.
armored
Now you'll see
vehicle
down there
tanks,
it's an
they're
RGB
called.
SCART. I'm actually
The United States
capturing
Marines.
this via RGB SCART to HDMI, so it looks insanely good. And yeah, that's how I typically do
I was
these
in
things.
one of those tanks one time, and
now
you
let's
can
go ahead and pick
talk about a
another
ride.
Oh my, look at the
pick
smoke
this
of
thing.
that.
This is
They're
a new,
pouring out.
independent
Yeah, well,
project
that's
called
for
Super
cover.
Mario Odyssey.
Is that what it's
This is
for?
fan-made,
They land on smoke
based on
sometimes.
Super Mario,
Okay.
but I'm only gonna show you
Hard to
a
make a
quick
target
video
when you
of
see
this
that.
movie, really. You can
This
go and
group
find that
is
game for yourself
led
if
by
you're excited.
Inspector
I don't wanna play
Instructor
this,
Staff,
'cause I love
Detroit
Super Mario World.
U.S.
But that's just an
Marine Corps
example
Gunnery
of this thing's
Sergeant
ability
Ken
to
Mitchell.
play
And we just lost the
games,
cameraman
fan
in the
projects,
smoke.
stuff
He's
that
coming back
previously
for
only
some air
emulators
now.
could do.
I'm
This
not
thing
surprised.
like
Ah,
Supersonic
now
Hedgehog
Dearborn
Hacker. I don't know
finest,
if you noticed that.
Dearborn
for a
Fire
second.
Department.
But
Aerial
yeah,
power
now here's an example of Star Fox. Now, like I said, this thing does
The
not support the Super
Sutsman
Effects, so you can't
100-foot
play
ladder
that.
truck, and we have firefighters
And
riding
Super Mario
inside
RPG,
the
another
truck.
example of a game you can't
Yeah,
play
it
yet.
looks
but
like that's
here,
the
Super
end.
Mario
That's
Kart,
the
which is
end. The
one that
crowds
uses
are
the
breaking up, but
DSP1
remember, we
channel,
do have the memorial service
which
that
is,
we will be
like I said, it's
covering
pretty
live
unique
for
because
you. Jackie
most
Kaiser
Flash
here with
cartridges
Russ
do not
Gibbs.
support these
We're going to
things,
go
which
to
is
a break. We'll
really
be
why
back
this is
after
awesome.
this.
Time for final thoughts. So there's a couple of bad things about the SD to SNES, and then it's pretty much entirely good after that. So I just want to
Dearborn
acknowledge the few
Federal
bad
Savings
things and
Bank,
get them
your
out of the way
community
so you're
bank,
aware.
has it all. Experience,
the first bad
expertise,
thing
reputation,
is
and
really
the
just
strongest
the
starting
setup.
lineup in the community.
I've been kind of spoiled with the
Leading
sense that
off
every time
and
I get one
always
of these
making
things,
the right
it's usually
play.
pre-formatted,
And accounting for all the new players who move into the lineup. The power hitters, the people you can trust to match the right lawn with your needs. And the manager, the leader of the championship
in fact, I
team,
couldn't even.
Bill
You
White,
saw before I
serving
tried
Dearborn
to.
and
I
Dearborn
thought I
Lake
could use
since
the
1936.
SD card from
Dearborn
the Super
Federal
Overdrive on
Savings
there.
Bank
For whatever
makes
reason,
everyone
it
in our
wouldn't let me do
community
that.
a winner.
Basically,
Formal,
you need
fashionable,
an SD card,
fantastic.
and you
They've
need to
got it
create a
all at
directory called
Brothers
SD to
Formalware.
SNES,
Colorful or
and you have to
conservative,
drop in a
copper
certain
or
set of
tail.
files
You can
which
get
you can
fit
get on
and
the internet.
fabulous for your wedding day,
Look up
graduation day, or
SD to
any
SNES
special day.
menu.bin,
Brothers
and
Formalware
you'll
on
be
Michigan
taken
Avenue
to their
across from
page, and it'll
Jacobson's
give you
in
like
West
the full
Dearborn.
set of
And our
files
factory
required
outlet in
to,
Wayne.
you know,
Formal
completely
affair
legit
for
stuff.
bridal accessories.
Basically, you have to
40
download one of those
60% off.
firmwares
If you're
and
having a wedding or
drop
need a
it
bridal
into
shower
the
gift,
folder, the
Formal
appropriate
Affair
folder.
has it. Michigan Avenue.
I was
4
having a
blocks
hell of a
west
time doing
Maryland.
that. I don't know why. Every time I would do it on this card, it simply would not recognize it. So I don't know what was up with that. I found another SD card and then I put it on there and everything ran fine. So at that point, okay, all good. You will have to go out of your way to find certain. Okay, so every one of the Super Nintendo's like extra or odd chipsets has its own
We'd have more time to spend in the sun.
bin firmware essentially. I know I'm screwing that up, but a BIOS thing. BIOS. Thank you.
Here are two cameras, identical in every way.
You have to
but
down like a
Camera A,
DSP1.bin. You have to
Camera
find
B,
all of them on
bought
your
into the
own,
department
and then you have to
store.
put them in that
What's the
same
difference?
directory as
Behind
well.
the ad ray
So
camera is
finding
the
most of them
most
isn't that
advanced
hard,
folder
but there's a
department
few
complete
out
with
there that are
processing
kind of
labs, the
tricky.
new creative print
And
system,
you're going to
plus
have to
a
get those
complete line of
yourself.
accessories. Behind the
in
other
fact, I couldn't
camera
find
is-
all of them. I can only find the more common ones.
picture.
So,
To see for
if
yourself,
you're one of those
why not
people
stop
that
into
has one of
Asbury
the
Plants
uncommon
on Carlisle
BIOS
in
files
Dearborn
for the
and
Super Nintendo,
get the
please
picture.
send me a message. I'd love to get those. but you will require those in order to play
it's chilly out here, and they're all hungry. And
so
another great
there's a
parade.
couple, like I said, there's a few
Movie.
problems from the
Jackie,
get-go, but once you get past them,
in a
it's
medal
pretty much
that
smooth
they were
sailing,
done out
with
today.
save for one
Incredible
exception.
to see 'em. And a lot of these
I
folks
found that the newest
they've
firmware,
worked
at the
hard
time I
in
make this
the,
video,
in the
which is
face of rather
version like 15 or
inclement,
1.5,
unpleasant
something
weather,
like
but
that.
we've been here along with a lot of Dearborn residents carrying this
Uh,
freight for
is
you.
somewhat
We are going to
problematic.
be
Like every time I would try to
carrying
use it,
the
a game would
memorial
just crash
service
immediately.
live.
And
I
I
thank you for
did some more
being here
research and found I wasn't
with
really
me.
alone
Russ,
on
you
that.
and I
A lot
have
of people said the same
endured
thing.
many
So I just
bad
downgraded
weather
to 14.4,
parades. I think
and
sometimes we're
everything's been
thinking
fine
over the
since.
years we've been doing
So,
this, there are probably
yeah.
more where the weather hasn't
what I would
been
suggest is that
A1,
at least at this
years
point in
when it
time,
has
that's
been
what you go
A1.
with. They eventually put out
with
1.6
umbrellas
and
and
16, I'm sure they will.
flashes.
Right.
Just
Well,
go
we
with
didn't
that.
bring gloves, and I think that was what I needed more than anything today.
That's where our pluses
you can
actually
hear
begin. See,
the
in the
Huey
past, these things,
overhead.
updating the firmware on these things
I
has been
think they're
very
heading
difficult.
back towards
I
the
was
Civic
beyond
Center
what I
area.
could
They'll
do.
be parked
My
in that
understanding was,
area if
you
you want to
really
go
had to
take
know
a
what you were
closer look at
doing, and it
those.
required a lot of
In
skills
just
to
a
actually
minute,
update these
joining
things.
the
This one
memorial
is
service,
incredibly
but we
simple,
do have
even
a
easier than I
feature
thought.
piece that we
Like, it
want to
has
share with
a
you
USB
on
port on it.
parades down
And I thought you'd have to do it
years.
through that, but
And
actually,
if
as
we're
it
ready,
turns out,
we'll take
you
a look
can
at
just do
that.
it straight through the SD card. All you have to do is put this, in your computer, drag and drop files, and put it back in the Super Nintendo,
Dearborn's
and
first
bam,
Memorial
that's it.
Day
It updates
parade was
itself.
held in 1925
Very,
to
very
honor
simple
the
to
memory
update
of the
that.
servicemen
And
who have
if
given their
you,
lives
update
in
it to the
defense
newest
of the
thing
United
like
States.
I did, and then that doesn't
Since its
really work.
beginnings,
You
the
wanna
parade has
go
grown to become the
drop back to
biggest
the old
Memorial
one.
Day
You do that
celebration
too.
in the state of
It's
Michigan
very simple in
and
that
one of the
sense.
largest in the
And
country.
from that point, this is very reliable. It would boot up every time, and it would play, like pretty much any game, except for the ones it's still not compatible with. And that leads us into the best option, the best thing, is that this thing, in theory, will be the only flash card to ever be able to support every type of game for the Super Nintendo, which is nothing short of amazing as far as I'm concerned. In the end, I would highly recommend it once you get past those, just a couple little bumps, especially right at the beginning. So yeah, I would say definitely head over to retrotowers.co.uk, look into getting one. I think they're like 180 pounds. I don't remember exactly what that is in dollars. US dollars. I want to say like $250, and I know that's expensive, and that understandably raises an eyebrow. But again, the idea is that every single Super Nintendo game ever will work with this thing. I can help you out with the price a little bit. If you use my name, which I'll display here, Adam K. If you use that on retrotowers.co.uk, you save 5% off your order. I hope that helps. So definitely do it if you can, and if you want to. It's a good alternative to collecting the games physically. Now, I know that sounds ironic coming from me because I obviously like to collect games all the time, but in that sense, this is actually awesome for me because then I can keep my Super Nintendo collection really nice and minty, and I don't have to, take it out and get, usage on it. I can just use this and just play all the same games I've always been playing. Because, that's another thing. You can save on this thing. That's not any kind of issue. It has a battery backup. So, really, you're getting the full package here if you really want it. So, yeah, I would highly recommend it if you're a big-time Super Nintendo collector and you want to preserve your collection, or if you really like the Super Nintendo but you just don't want to worry about getting all the cartridges. This thing could be your all-in-one solution. And it also allows you, like you saw earlier in some of that footage, to play things that aren't even like legitimate games, like that Super Mario World Odyssey hack thing and boards and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's just my overall thoughts on it. I think it's a really good product, and I highly recommend you go to retrotowers.co.uk and pick one up if you can. So that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Dearborn began producing local programming for its newly installed cable system. Ever since then, the Memorial Day Parade has been shown live on the local cable channel.
Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Korlick with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series. Hey guys, I got a package here that I got from retrotowers.co.uk. Just a couple of things I wanted to get. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up, and then we'll talk more about it. So why don't I just go ahead and start off here. If I can. Of course, I'm sitting around, but I didn't do that this time. Okay, so we got two things. First, we got a game called Doshin the Giant, which is not really the point of this video, so we'll put that to the side.
In 1985, Dearborn paid a long-awaited tribute to the veterans of the Vietnam War as they marched as a group for the first time in the Memorial Day Parade.
This is the EverDrive N8 take it out.
And this is the Vietnam Veterans of America. Russ, I don't know if you're a good estimator of crowds, but we'll just see how many of these veterans from the Detroit area have come to this parade today.
Anyway, this is a flashcard for the NIS. I actually did a video on a similar version of this not too long ago, a little while ago. This is the EverDrive N8. This is the Famicom version. For those who don't know, the Famicom and the NES are essentially the same concept. Famicom is the Japanese version of what we know as the Nintendo
Everybody's standing up along this parade.
Different size an American. This is what
some of them have brought their children along.
The shape is different, but internally they're the same. So you have the choice, depending on what console you
several hundred here, Russ. I don't know. Can you estimate how many?
One version or the other.
You got 300 or 400 easy. They're coming down. The men and women.
I think it looks pretty good. It was clearly a donor cartridge. Some people like donor cartridge. Typically comes nevertheless. Title because they're cheap.
Long overdue, Jackie. Long overdue.
The chipset inside.
In 1991, Dearborn honored the men and women of Desert Storm and dedicated a new memorial at City Hall.
On top of that, it's also had a hole cut right here.
You see people on Michigan Avenue giving.
And the flags are being waved.
Reason for this. Usually NES cartridges only fill about that much
This is the start of the 4th Division. The Desert Storm.
Because they, like I said before, they're usually designed for Famicom, which is much.
Veterans from around the state have been invited to participate in this.
But in this case, it has to go all the way to the top there. SD card.
Anchors away.
SD cards. This one, the Famicom version, uses mini SD cards. Right there. Very small little things. On here, I've already preloaded since the last
Certainly
time.
the crowd giving a good hand to the people involved in Desert Storm.
People, kids running out to the street wanting to shake their hands.
I hope they watch their toes there.
And now, this cartridge right here has every NES game ever made all in one cartridge. Pop it in the NES. Your NES is clean, always clean your systems. If you can do that, I've got plenty of videos on that. But yeah, if it's all clean, it's all operational. Put this in, every NES game ever. Bam, you're good to go. And that's pretty neat. And yeah, let's go ahead and try that out. Because I've done this before in the past with the TurboGrafx EverDrive. There's a few of these things. There's one for the Sega Master System. There's one for the Sega Genesis 32X, although technically Genesis 32X is the same one. Super Nintendo, even the N64. There's a lot of cool EverDrives out there, and this is just the latest one. But yeah, sorry, I'm going to go off there. Let's go ahead and try it out. I've got the NES all set up.
Welcome back, and that was a look at early Memorial Day parade starting in the 1940s. And there you have a shot of the War Memorial. That service right there in front of City Hall will begin in a few minutes' time. We'll be carrying that for you live. The crowds have quickly left our area here at the parade, Russ, mostly because it is chilly, windy.
Right, and the seagulls come over to pick up some scraps of popcorn.
Pick up the remains, right. If we're ready, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be back, and we will prepare for the memorial.
I highly recommend you organize things this way, otherwise you're going to run out of pages. This is really just a way to keep it categorized and organized, because I think it only supports like 12
Casey's Salad Bar on Michigan Avenue won its reputation as the best in the Midwest the old-fashioned way. They earned it. And now, the best gets even better with a stunningly conceived and brilliantly executed dinner menu. It's a dinner menu that will please your palate, wow your wallet, and enhance your health. A dinner menu that will impress you with its culinary creativity. The best in the Midwest now gets even better. Dinner at Casey's Salad Bar.
Just go ahead and start the game.
La Pinguina,
It takes a second to load it.
For an unusual deli. On Greenfield, just north of Michigan, La Pinguina features the finest deli sandwiches on bakery fresh bread and super party subs. La Pinguina's superior pasta dishes are made fresh every day. Delicious deli trays feature imported and domestic meats and cheeses. Get the best.
difference here
La
is that it's
Pinguina,
reading all the
unusually
data off the SD
delicious.
cards.
Open weekdays
Now,
from 8:30 to 4. La
few people
Pinguina,
will
next to
probably
the
ask,
Capri Bakery.
you just noticed that I
Dearborn's
created a
home
save
for
file.
office
Does it
supplies
support
is
saving?
Schaefer Office
Yes,
Products,
it does.
where you'll find
I don't
great
think it has
service,
a battery
everyday
inside. I
low
think
prices
it has
on quality products,
flash-based memory.
and a
I'm
large
not sure how it
selection.
works.
Pens
But
are
if
cheaper
you,
by the dozen at only 83
quit
cents
this
a
game,
box,
you load
and
another
file
game,
folders in a 100-count box are just $3.98. Fill up your copier with 5,000 sheets for only $23.90. Schaefer has furniture for your office,
but yeah, so
candles,
that's a
cards,
really
and
nice
balloons
bonus
too.
feature.
Your home for office products since 1950. We're Schaefer Office Products, just a half a block north of Michigan at 4915 Schaefer.
Now let's reset and run something else. So once again, which again takes a while to load. This thing actually not only does it play legit games like you saw, but it also plays hacked games, things that were really meant to be so for example, this game, this is a Pac-Man hack called Unicron. I believe I did this before, but in the first EverDrive video I did.
And we are
I'm
back,
a big
and there you
Transformers
see
fan.
the flag as it flies
I love
over
it.
the War Memorial
this is a, basically just a
area
Pac-Man
there
clone
in
using
Dearborn.
characters,
I don't know if we have any
specifically
word on
Unicron,
how
Transformers
soon it
1986
will be
movie, which
before
is
they start
the
the
only
service.
good
I know that Mayor
Transformers movie
Guido
ever
is
made.
going
That
to
movie
be
is
emceeing that service, and Lieutenant
Just so
General Teddy
people
Allen Russ
understand,
is going
I
to be
don't
the main,
use this to,
give the main
replace
address.
my
It
cartridges
will
or
not
stop
be a
collecting.
lengthy
That's actually still really, really important.
service. I do know
This is
that.
just
I know
kind of
that the
a really
Dearborn
neat
High
thing.
Band was going
Primarily, I
to
would
be
use it
playing
to,
for that. They always
play
do
hacked games,
taps
as I mentioned here.
for us,
But it does have its
and
purposes and its
we'll be
advantages
carrying that
just as a
service
novelty.
live. We have a second part to our parade, parades over the years feature, and if we're ready, we'll roll that right now.
Experience, and that's the way I like to do it. You may have noticed that the title screen said 1999, which is kind of cool. That means, a lot of these fan games were made and continued to be produced years after the system was no longer being supported. And I always wondered back in the day what the point of these were, and I think it was so you could play them on emulators. I think that was really cool. But now, it's kind of funny. I don't think anybody would have ever really predicted that one day you'd be running these kinds of hack games on official hardware. It's just neat to see that. But anyway, let's reset again here. Now I want to show you one other thing. I'm going to run Super Mario Bros. 2, which I'll talk about in a moment. I have two reasons for showing you this. One is to show you that. I don't know if you noticed that for a second, but that's actually because this is a Famicom disk drive game. The Famicom disk drive is an expansion for the NES, or well, no, for the Famicom, released in Japan that we never got over here. It played like these floppy disk-like games, and with this, you can actually run those games. That library of games will run on your NES with this flash card, which is really, really cool. Now this game specifically, I also showed you for another reason. This game, I believe, did have a cartridge version, and this game, Super Mario Bros. 2, this version, never was released outside of Japan until the Super Nintendo, because basically it was too hard for the Soviets, at least that's how Nintendo felt about it. So I showed you this because, one, I wanted to tell you that with this thing you can play Famicom disk drive games, but you can also play Japanese games imported. Okay, so there you have it. That's the basically the NES EverDrive, the EverDrive N8, the full NES version. Really not a whole lot different from the EverDrive, Famicom EverDrive, but yeah, it just fits better. So this is really aimed more towards Western audiences, specifically those in the US and Canada and Europe. It's not entirely region-free. If you have your 10NES chip cut inside of it, which I have on this NES, I've done a video on that as well, you don't have to deal with any kind of region issue. However, it's my understanding that if you haven't cut the chip, you'll have to press the reset button 5 times when you load it up to change its region code. So it will work either way, but you might have to take an additional step. I recommend cutting the 10NES chip personally. Other things, it also works on the top loader NES. It works on, I'm pretty sure, I don't have any clone systems, but I'm pretty sure it would work on those as well. I find it unlikely that it wouldn't. It would also work on Famicoms if you had the appropriate adapters to make the pins fit, but if you want that and have a Famicom
odds are you should just get the Famicom version of this that I showed earlier. So yeah, that's about it. Just want to remind you, of course, that I got this from retrotowers.co.uk, and I double-checked. It is, in fact, facebook.com/retrotow. Just so you guys know, as basically a gift to all you guys for watching the video, if you buy this or anything off of retrotowers.co.uk, if you use my name as a coupon code, which is AdamK, if you go ahead and do that, you get 5% off your order. No matter what it is, 5% off. You're welcome. So that's about it, guys, and as always, thanks for watching.
Figure it out. Hello, this is Adam Corlick with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series. Hey guys, it's Adam here, and I have a package. This came from the UK. This is specifically from retrotowers.co.uk. And so what my plan here is I'm going to open it up, show you what's inside, and then we'll talk about it, and then hopefully I'll go check it out and let you know what I think of it. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and
over the years,
open this up.
very nicely by Chuck Miller there. But one of the nice things for us in looking at all those parades
inside, we
years
have
when there was warmth and sunshine here.
Put that down. Now, we have a cartridge, and see there's the business card for retrotowers.co.uk, which again is where I got this. Now, what is this? It just looks like a Super Nintendo game, right? Wrong. This is a flash drive. Basically, this is a cartridge that you can put every game for the Super Nintendo ever onto this cartridge and play them all, or at least most of them. This is comparable to like the Super UFO, which I did a video on a while ago, and the Super EverDrive.
Good afternoon.
Now, why would
As your
one need
mayor
this
and on
many
behalf of the
different
Dearborn
Super Nintendo
Allied
flash
War
cartridges?
Veterans Council, it's my
There's
special
differences
pleasure to
between
welcome you
these.
to Dearborn
Now, obviously, I haven't used this new
Memorial
one,
Day
but
service.
my understanding is this is
Please
most likely
stand
the best
for the
one
raising
out
of the
there
colors
because
by
it
the Polish
has an
Legion of
advantage
American
the others
Veterans
do
Post
not.
75 Honor Guard.
Okay,
the
so
playing of our
there's a
national
lot of
anthem
Super Nintendo
by the
games that
Dearborn
use like
High School
specialized
Band.
chips, things like the Super
The band will
FX
be
chip
directed by
and
Jeff
DSP-1
Oshnock,
chips.
with
You
the
know,
vocal by
some
Dr.
games took
Robert
advantage of this extra hardware that they would put inside of these games. Not every game. I mean, most games never used it. So most games will run on things like the regular EverDrive and on the Super UFO. And those same games, of course, work here. But there's also games, like I said, that use those special chips, and those chips are not really very easily recreated into flash cards. So a lot of them can't function on the regular, shall we say, Super EverDrive. The Super UFO had an interesting way of going around this. It has an extra slot on top for a cartridge, so if you need a game that uses like a Super FX chip, you could put one game with a Super FX chip on top, and then the cartridge, you could load up a ROM from a completely different game, and it would just use the Super FX chip in that cartridge, which is a neat idea. This one goes above and beyond that. It's actually designed to, I mean, I'm not an engineer or anything, but there's a chip inside this that is essentially rewritable and updatable. So over time, it can actually be compatible with all these games that use really special hardware. As it stands, it actually uses a lot of them. I can't remember offhand, obviously. It does support like DSP-1 through, I think, DSP-4, and a bunch of other ones. The ones it doesn't support, the only one I remember offhand is the Super FX chip it doesn't support. But supposedly that's coming. It's just a matter of firmware updating it. Now, on top, it has a little USB slot. That's for firmware updates. And, of course, there's an SD card port. Now, it didn't come with an SD card, so I'm actually just going to use an SD card from my Super EverDrive. Now, this is where you would store all of your games, all your ROMs, and that's a really simple process. Once you get them, you just basically make a folder. It's called ROMs or games or whatever. Just put whatever you want inside of it. Organize it, by letter or something for your own benefit. But really, it's not like super picky. At least that's my understanding. And then you would just go ahead and pop it in, and that's it. Now, this has an American-style shell on it, so it'll fit right in there in my American Super Nintendo. Now, you can order these with a Super Famicom style case or a European Super Nintendo case. I didn't really bother with that because, one, I don't have a European Super Nintendo, and I do have a Super Famicom, but in all honesty, I never use it because I just want to preserve it. Whereas I have a few Super Nintendos, so I just thought it would look better if that was the way to do it.
Standing for the
So now, like I said, obviously I haven't used it, so I'm going to try it out and let you know what I think of it, see if there's any like quirks or weird things about it, and see what my recommendation is, especially compared to these other ones that I know are, like the Super EverDrive is insanely reliable, and it's made by the same people, so it's probably going to be really good.
Bradley is a
Here's hoping.
Okay, I've got the SNES all fired up here. So this is assuming you've already created a folder for ROMs and you've done all that stuff. So this is what it displays like. It just shows whatever directories you have except for the SD to SNES directory. Now, inside you have a bunch of options. Two options. You have system information, which I'm showing off here, which shows that I have firmware version 0.1.4.
By the way, I was in charge of the
and you
weather.
can also adjust the clock and all that, which
Lord,
obviously
we
is
ask your
wrong,
blessings
but
upon us
I don't
this day.
need that. I don't need this cartridge to have an
Many
accurate
people
clock.
have made many sacrifices for each of us
and it
during
includes
the course
other
of
little
our
stats and
lives.
things that people might find useful.
But those
anyway,
men
enough
and
of that.
women who have
Let's go ahead and go inside the ROMs
time,
folder. Now you can see
effort,
I've
and in
individually
many cases,
organized these
for the
things, and I
sake of
highly
our
recommend
country.
you do that,
We
because if it's
truly
anything like the
appreciate it,
previous
Lord.
versions of the
We ask you
EverDrive,
that
there's
you be with us
probably a
this
file
afternoon
limit per
as we
folder,
commemorate
so it's a
them.
good way to break
Amen.
it down. You may have to, depending on the letter, make two like S folders and two M folders. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to run a game quick here, and of course it's everybody's favorite game of all time. Shaq Fu. Everybody loves Shaq Fu. And now this is, of
Before
course, just an
introducing
example
our distinguished
of a
speaker
normal
and
game.
sharing with you some of my own
Not using any kind
observations
of special
about
hardware.
Memorial
You can
Day
see it boots very
1993,
quickly, and there's nothing
I'd
weird
like to
about it
acknowledge
there,
the presence of
just
some
gonna go
very
ahead and turn
special
that
guests
off and
at today's
we'll
program.
reset. Now, if you just press reset,
We
the
have with
exact
us
game you already
today
loaded
from the
will
City
come back on. If you
Council,
turn
the
it off
President
and
of the
turn it back
Dearborn
on,
City
then you're
Council,
presented with this
John
menu
B.
again.
O'Reilly Jr.
So now let's go ahead and we'll try something else out. Now,
Also
this
with
is
us
Super Back
today
to the Future
is
2.
Council President Pro
This was
Tem
only
Robert
released in
Cano.
Japan for the Super Famicom, and that this is
Councilwoman
just showing
Suzanne
that this thing
Serini.
is completely region free in that sense. So it'll play Japanese and European
Councilwoman
games
Joyce
on American
Olkowski.
console, and of course American games on Japanese or European consoles. So that's that.
Councilwoman
Now you'll see down there
Nancy
it said
Hubbard.
RGB SCART. I'm actually capturing this
Councilman
via RGB
Douglas
SCART
Thomas.
to HDMI, so it looks insanely good.
City Clerk
And,
Dwayne
yeah,
Weindorf.
that's how I typically do these things.
From the
Now
19th
let's go ahead
District
and pick
Court,
another
the
game.
Honorable Judge
I'm
William
gonna pick this
Runco.
thing. This is a new independent project called Super Mario Odyssey.
And also with us is,
This is
from the
fan-made,
19th District
based
Court,
on Super
the
Mario
Honorable
World, but
Judge
I'm only
William
gonna,
Hultgren.
I'll show you a quick little glimpse of it here, just the menu really. You can go
State
and find
Senator
that game
George
for yourself
Hart.
if you're excited. I want to play this because I love Super Mario World. But that's just an example
From the
of
school
this thing's
board,
ability to play
Trustee Mary
non-legitimate games,
Bougea.
fan projects, stuff that previously only emulators could do.
The
this thing can do.
Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Jeremy
like Super
Hughes.
Sonic the Hedgehog hack there. I don't know if you noticed that for a quick second. But yeah,
And
now
the
here's an
First Lady
example
of
of
the
Star
City of
Fox. Now, like I
Dearborn,
said,
my
this
wife,
thing does not
Carrie
support
Gayo.
the Super FX chip, so you can't play that yet. And Super Mario RPG, another example of a game you can't play yet. But here,
Dearborn is
Super
known
Mario Kart, which
far
is
and
one that
wide
uses the
for the
DSP
quality
One
of its
chip,
Memorial
you
Day
can
parade.
play. Which
And
is,
one of the key
like I said, it's
ingredients
pretty unique
that traditionally
because
has
most
raised us a notch
Flash
above the
cartridges do not
observances of
support
other
these things,
communities
which is
across America
really why this
has
is
been
awesome.
the intense
Time for final
involvement
thoughts.
of the active
So,
military.
there's a couple of bad things
Uniformed
about the
men,
SD2 SNES,
uniformed
and
women,
then it's pretty much
color
entirely
guards,
good after
bands,
that. So I just
and
want to
awesome
acknowledge the few
machines of
bad
war.
things and get them out of the way so you're aware.
For years, we in Dearborn have taken
the
great
first
pride
bad
and extreme
thing
pleasure
is
in
really
watching
just
multiple
the setup.
flyovers.
I've been
Our
kind of
backs
spoiled
to
in the sense that every time I get one
as
of
we
these things,
saluted
it's usually
tanks,
pre-formatted, and I don't have to
and
deal with
armored
anything, or
jeeps as they
formatting
rolled
it
by
isn't
the reviewing
necessarily
stand.
complicated. Not that
We've
this
watched
is,
in
but it
awe
required a
some
little
of our
more research
military's
than any of
finest
the previous
ceremonial
ones.
units, like the
in fact, I
Army
couldn't
Coast
even.
Guard,
You saw before. I tried.
performed in
I
March.
thought I could use the SD card
This
from
noble
the
and
Super
cherished
EverDrive on there. For
tradition
whatever
was
reason, it
upheld
wouldn't let me
today.
do that.
But I think I
basically,
can share with you the fact that
you need
it
an SD
almost
card,
didn't happen.
and you need to create a directory called SD
Planning
to
for today's
SNES,
event started
and you have to
last
drop
July,
in a certain set
and
of
we had
files
early
which you can get on the
commitments for
internet.
two jet
If
flyovers,
look up
one
SD
from
to
a base in
SNES
Alaska.
menu.bin, and you'll be
Then,
taken to
earlier
their
this
page,
year,
and it'll give you like the
following
full
the first
set of
of
files
massive
required.
cutbacks in military
completely
spending,
legit stuff.
we had two quick
basically, you have to download one of those
cancellations for the
firmwares
flyovers.
and drop it into
2
the
weeks ago,
folder. the
we learned
appropriate
that
folder.
Selfridge Air Base was
I was
going to
having
be
a hell of a
closed
time
for
doing
the
that. I don't
holiday,
know why.
marking
Every
the
time I would
first
do it
time
on
in
this
history
card, it
that had
simply
ever
would
been
not
shut
recognize
down.
it. So I don't know what was up with that.
Selfridge's closing
I
posed
found another
some
SD card and then I
mind-boggling
put it on there and
logistical
everything
problems
ran fine.
in
So at
housing
that
and
point,
servicing the
okay,
jets
all good.
that we finally secured from
Tyndale
you will
Air
have
Force
to
Base
go
in
out of your
Florida,
way to find
and in
certain
making available the Huey helicopters.
Okay, so
and in
every
completing travel
one of the
arrangements
Super
for the
Nintendo's
Old
like
Guard to and from
extra or odd
Washington.
chipsets has its own.
It was only
bin-
through the determination and
firmware,
perseverance
essentially.
of our parade
I know I'm screwing
Colin
that up, but
McGee
a bias
that
thing.
these
Bias,
obstacles
thank
were overcome.
Thank you to me.
And we will be
you have to
forever
down like a
grateful to our guest
DSP1.bin. You have to
General
find
Teddy
all of
Allen
them on your own,
for his
and then you have to put them in that
assistance
same
getting
directory as
Colin
well.
over the final
So
hurdles.
finding most of them isn't that hard, but there's a
These
few
events,
out there that are
coupled
kind of
with
tricky.
continued announcements
And
of
you're
base
going to have to
closings
get
and
those
reductions in
yourself.
military personnel.
In fact, I
pose
couldn't
us
find all of
some
them. I
major
can only find the more
problems
common
in
ones.
planning future
So
Memorial Day
if you're one of those people that has one of the
There will be
uncommon BIOS
disappointment
files for
aplenty
the Super
for
Nintendo,
the
please
thousands who
send me a
have
message.
gathered
I'd
along
love to get
Michigan
those.
Avenue each year
But you
to
will
witness
require those in
firsthand
order
the
to play
spectacle of our nation's
the
military
games that
might.
this thing is more compatible with.
The spectacle was
there's
a
a couple, like I said, there's a few problems from the
reaffirmation
get-go,
of our
but once you
might
get past
and a
them, it's
reaffirmation
pretty much
that our
smooth
nation
sailing.
and our values
Save for
were
one
secure.
exception. I
But
found
in this
that the
disappointment,
newest firmware
there's
at the
also
time
a
I make
sense
this
of
video,
relief,
which is version
a
like
sense of
15
elation,
or 1.5,
and a
something
sense
like
of victory.
I don't remember if it's
Because for the
15 or
first
1.5.
time in nearly a half a century,
It's somewhat problematic.
the
Like
threat
every
of
time I would try to
nuclear
use it,
war
the
with
game
the
would just
Soviet
crash like
Union
immediately.
is
And
on
I
the verge of
did some more
evaporating.
research and found I wasn't really alone on that. A lot
Sure,
of people
there's
said the same thing.
trouble spots
So I just
touching in such
downgraded to
far-off
14
places
or
as
1.4,
Bosnia,
and everything's
the Middle
been fine
East, and
since.
Cambodia.
So,
and sure, we must remain for
what I would
alert.
suggest is that at
But
least
for
at
the
this
first
point in
time in
time, that's what you
most of
go
our
with. If they
lifetime,
eventually put out 1.6
there is
and 16, and I'm sure they
for
will,
real peace.
then just go with that. Unless that has
And
problems
isn't
too.
it what these
And
men,
but that's where our
these
pluses actually begin.
339
See, in the past, these things updating the
They
firmware
and
in these things has
thousands
been
of
very
other
difficult.
American men and
I was
women
beyond what I
made
could
the
do.
supreme
My understanding was,
sacrifice
you really
so
had
that
to
we
know what
could
you were
continue
doing,
to
and it
enjoy the
required a lot of
American way of
skills
life
to actually
in
update these
peace.
things. This one is incredibly simple,
All
even
they
easier
ask
than I thought. Like, it has a
remember.
USB port on it. And I thought you'd have to do it through that, but actually, as it turns out, you can just do it straight through the SD card. All you have to do is put this, in your computer, drag and drop files, and put it back in the Super Nintendo, and bam, that's it. It updates itself. Very, very simple to update that. And if you, update it to the newest thing, like I did, and then that doesn't really work, and you want to draw back to the old one, you can do that too. It's very simple in that sense. And from that point, it was very reliable. It'd boot up every time, and it would play, like pretty much any game, except for the ones it's still not compatible with. And that leads us into the best option, the best thing, is that this thing, in theory, will be the only flash card to ever be able to support every type of game for the Super Nintendo, which is nothing short of amazing as far as I'm concerned. In the end, I would highly recommend it once you get past those just a couple little bumps, especially right at the beginning. So yeah, I would say definitely head over to retrotowers.co.uk, look into getting one. I think they're like 180 pounds. I don't remember exactly what that is in dollars.
Our guest speaker today
$250, and I know that's expensive.
Army Lieutenant General Teddy G. Allen.
Raises an eyebrow.
My introduction will
again,
be brief because
the idea
this is General
is that
Allen's
every
fourth
single
visit to
Super
Dearborn
Nintendo game
since 1989.
ever will work with this thing.
He's like family.
I can help you out with the price a little bit. If you use my name, which I'll display here, Adam K, if you use that on retrotowers.co.uk, you save 5% off your order. I hope that helps.
He's earned this distinction.
So definitely do it if you can, if you want to. It's a good alternative to collecting the games physically. Now, I know that sounds ironic coming from me because I obviously like to collect games all the time, but in that sense, this is actually awesome for me because then I can keep my Super Nintendo collection really nice and minty, and I don't have to, take it out and get usage on it. I can just use this and just play all the same games I've always been playing because that's another thing. You can save on this thing. That's not any kind of issue. It has a battery backup.
And is a
so
soldier's
really,
soldier.
you're getting the full package here.
And it's my honor to call him to the microphone once more to help remind us.
I would highly recommend it if you're a big-time
Day.
Super Nintendo collector and you want to preserve your collection, or if you really like the Super Nintendo but you just don't want to, worry about getting all the cartridges. This thing could be your all-in-one solution. And it also allows you, like you saw earlier in some of that footage, to play things that aren't even like legitimate games, like that Super Mario World Odyssey thing and imports and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's just my overall thoughts on it. I think it's a really good product, and I highly recommend you go to retrotowers.co.uk and pick one up.
I stand before you,
so that's about it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all later.
Tombstones, which honor those who fought so valiantly in past wars. And I couldn't help but be moved as I stood in the reviewing stand and watched 3 generations of America pass in front of me.
Hello, this is Adam Corlick with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series.
who protected us
Hey
so
guys,
bravely
I got
in
a
the
package
past.
here that I
filed
got
by.
from RetroTowers.co.uk.
My heart went out to
Just a
today's
couple
brave
things
men
I
and
wanna
women in
get.
uniform
So I'm going
who
to go ahead and
currently
open
protect
this up,
our freedoms
and then
around
we'll
the
talk
world.
more about it. So why don't I just
And
go ahead
last but not
start off
least,
here?
I watched and listened with pride to the future of our great nation.
Okay. So,
fresh
we got two
faces and
things.
voices
First,
of
we got a
America's
game called
youth,
Doshin the Giant,
who I hope
which,
and pray will
is not
never
really the point of this video.
have to see the
So we'll
horrors
put
of
that to the
battle.
side if you want to see more about this.
Since the first
watch
Memorial
Playworld
Day
at the
back
end of the
in
month,
the
and I'll talk more about it.
1860s,
But for now,
we have commemorated those who have fallen to
this
preserve
is the
our freedom.
EverDrive N8.
In 1868, John Logan,
And, comes with
Commander-in-Chief of the Grand Army of the
like
Republic,
them on Facebook.
issued a general order to honor those who
RetroTow.
fell in the American Civil War.
Really? RetroTow? Okay.
He hoped that this
Possibly
tradition would be
RetroTowers. Go ahead
kept
and look
up
that
from year to year.
Anyway, this
Slowly,
is
state after state adopted this
flashcard
tradition,
for the NES.
resulting
I
in the
actually did a
national
video
holiday
on
we observe
this
today.
a similar version
Through the
of this,
years,
not
America was
too
forced
long
to
ago, a
again
while
call
ago. This is
on
the
other
EverDrive N8.
generations
This is the
of brave
Famicom
soldiers
version.
to protect our freedom.
For those who don't know, the Famicom
Sadly,
and
some
the NES
fell far
are
from
essentially
home
the same console.
in
The
places
Famicom
like
is the
Argonne
Japanese version
Forest,
of what we know as the
Midway,
Nintendo Entertainment
Incheon,
System in the West.
and
Now they have,
Quezon, in
different
defense of
sized
the
pins.
liberties we
This has
enjoy
what
today.
commonly referred to as 60 pins.
I wish I could
Actually,
stand
this
before
has
you and
72
say
pins. The
that
shape
this is the
different,
end,
but internally they're the
that
same.
there will be no more war,
you
and
have
no
the
more fallen
choice, depending on what
comrades
console
and
you
loved
have,
ones to grieve over.
to buy
But sadly, I
one version
cannot.
or the other for use
I can tell
in your
you
country.
that the world
or your
around us is
region, wherever
changing,
you are specifically.
and that we have
I
much
don't know, I
to
think
be
it looks
thankful
pretty good,
for.
personally.
The head-to-head ideological struggle that defined the Cold War is over,
title,
and we have moved into a new era.
Is they will open it up.
Liberty's bell is ringing as it has never rung before.
Replace it with the board.
Millions of people around our world who once suffered under the yoke of communism
on top of
now
that,
enjoy
it's also
freedom.
had a hole cut right here, which I'll explain in a
But
moment.
regretfully, I must also
it's
tell
very
you
heavy
that
for
our
an
world
NES
is not
cartridge,
free
and
from
there's
all
a simple
dangers,
reason for this.
from all threats
Usually
to
NES
our freedom.
cartridges only fill up about that much
Despite the
space
recent
inside.
triumphs of democracy, there are still
Chipsets
dangers
inside
lurking
don't
in the
really go
world.
above this point because
Recently,
they,
we
like I
have
said
seen a
before,
large-scale
usually designed for
reemergence
Famicom, which is
of
much
ethnic, religious, and
though
territorial
granted,
squabbles.
different shapes.
For
But in this
proof,
case,
we
it has
need
to
look
go all
no
the way to the
further
top there
than the
for an
headlines
SD
of the morning
card reader,
paper,
which is
where we see
explained
news of
plus
what's
the
going on in
additional weight.
places such as Bosnia,
Now, as I said,
North Korea,
SD cards. This
Iraq,
one, the Famicom
Iran.
version, uses SD.
No, I cannot
mini
say
SD
that the
cards
call for America's young
right
men
there,
and women
very, very small
has
little
or will
things.
end anytime
On here,
soon.
I've already preloaded since the
Today,
last time I
we
did
have
this
over
with this version.
330,000
This
Americans,
one has every
soldiers,
NES game
sailors,
ever
airmen, and
made,
Marines
ever, all on this
serving
one little
overseas.
card. Now, as
Though
you saw
not
here,
all
that's
are in
obviously
danger
doesn't
zones,
use,
risking their
micro
lives for our
SD
freedom.
cards. So
Some
I'll take
are.
the micro SD card adapter
And
here.
all are
pop
prepared to
that
lay
in,
down
bam,
their lives
take
for
that,
you
and I think
and
it
for
goes
me.
in. Yep,
As in the
right,
past,
okay.
their role is
And
not
now,
to conquer
this
and
cartridge
suppress,
right here has
but
every
to
NES
defend
game
and
ever
protect.
made all in one cartridge.
Today, our soldiers are
Pop it in the
peacekeepers.
NES, provided your NES is
Peace
clean,
enforcers.
always clean your systems.
And yes, even
if you don't know how to
peacemakers.
do that, I've got plenty of videos on that.
As example,
But yeah, if it's all
our
clean,
troops
it's all
are protecting the
operational.
Kurdish
Put this
people
in,
with a no-fly zone
every
in
NES
Iraq,
game ever. Bam.
feeding
you're
the
good to
hunger
go.
in Somalia,
And that's
and
pretty
manning
neat.
medical
and,
units
yeah,
in Croatia.
Let's go ahead.
Tomorrow
and,
we
try
could be
that
anywhere,
out.
from our own backyard to
yeah,
halfway
can't
around
really
the world.
beat that. I've
in
done this
defense
before
of
in the
freedom
past with the Turbo
and other US
Graphics
interests.
EverDrive, and there's a few
But the
of
bright
these things.
side of
There's,
this situation
there's one
is
for
the
Sega
United
Master
States is not
System,
alone.
There's one for the Sega Genesis.
Our friends and allies are
32
also
Axle,
becoming
Technical
heavily
Genesis,
involved in
32 Axis
peacekeeping
1,
and
Super
humanitarian
Nintendo, even the
activities around the
N64.
world.
There's
The
a
French
lot
and
of
British
cool,
are helping us to protect
EverDrives
the
out
Kurds
there,
in Iraq.
and this is just
In
the
Somalia,
latest
we are
one.
joined by
But yeah,
Uganda,
sorry, didn't mean to
Turkey,
go off there.
Belgium,
Let's
and
go
others.
ahead and try it
And
out.
in the Balkans,
I've got the
there are
NES
troops
all
from
set up. I
Russia,
apologize for something going
Argentina,
handheld on
Canada,
you.
as
So
well
we're
as
just
from
going to take the
France,
cartridge
Britain, and
and
many other
pop it in.
We are a country willing to use our power, not to expand our power base, but rather for the good of mankind.
Super small complaint.
We have asked our servicemen and women to pay a very steep price for the betterment of not only our country,
anyway, push it down, turn it on,
but for the world.
And
as in the past,
here we go.
Members of our armed forces are warriors, healers, builders, and peacekeepers
click on ROMs,
whose lives are dedicated to the service of our nation.
Now you have to organize.
I hope to live to see the day when all other countries will join us in these missions, and when the entire world will stand for what we stand for.
Otherwise, you're going to run out of pages.
For democracy,
this is really just a way to keep it categorized
and for economic freedom.
Organized, because I think it only supports
then, when
like
America's ideals of freedom and liberty take root around the globe, the youth of tomorrow will never see a battlefield and never feel the loss of a loved one or colleague who fell in combat.
Now I'm going to go ahead
This hope
and
for the
run a
future
game
is within
I
our
think that,
grasp,
everyone is
but
pretty
only through the
familiar with.
efforts of the men and women who have answered
that way you get this,
the call of duty.
Kind of see, well, okay, yeah,
As
Legend
we
of
gather
Zelda.
today,
So
we
you have a
grieve
few
for
options here.
and honor
You can get some
all
information
those who
on it.
laid
It says
down
that it
their
works,
lives.
It says the size, all this kind of stuff.
Theirs was the ultimate
And
sacrifice.
yeah, or
These heroic men and women gave their lives for the
it takes a
security of
second
our
to load
country.
it. Not very long.
They died
And
so that each of
it
us
runs
can
it,
enjoy the freedom
just as if it was on
coveted
the actual
by
hardware,
peoples
because,
in
well,
many countries
frankly, it
around
is
the
on
world.
the actual hardware. The only
Today
thing
we
that's
attend
different
services
is
and place flowers at
just
great
the fact
sites
that
and
technically
monuments.
it's a ROM file.
We
which is really
remember
all
and
that's on a
venerate
flash card
those
to be-
who have made
or
our
on a
futures possible.
Cartridge to begin with.
Those
The
who have made
difference here is
America
that it's reading
what
all
it
the
is
data off
today.
SD cards.
A great nation,
Now,
full of compassion and
a
idealism.
few people will probably ask.
God bless them.
You just noticed that I
God bless
created
you.
a save file. Does it support
God
saving?
bless Dearborn.
Yes, it does.
And God bless
I don't
America.
think it has a battery inside it. I think it does it through flash-based memory. I'm not really sure how it works. But if you quit this game, you load another game, whatever, you don't have to worry about your save getting wiped. It'll stay there, forever. Well, forever unless you delete it. But yeah, so that's a really nice bonus feature. You don't have to worry about the battery ever dying, because I don't think it even has one. As far as I know, it goes through flash memories. Now let's reset and run something else here. So I will once again go ahead and open up the ROM folder here, which again takes a moment to load. I guess I could have cut out the load times. But yeah. So this thing actually, not only does it play legit games like you just saw, but it also plays hacked games. Things that weren't ever really meant to run on the NES, but technically can. One such example is this game. This is a Pac-Man hack called Unicron. Now, I believe I did this before, but in the first EverDrive video I did. I'm a big Transformers fan.
Thank you very much, General Allen.
This
As always,
is
your remarks were appropriate
just a Pac-Man
and meaningful.
clone using Transformer characters.
However, your
specifically
day's
Unicron
assignment will not be
Transformers
completed
movie, the
until you
1996
join me
movie, which
in
is
placing a wreath
the
at the
only
base
good
of our war
Transformers
memorial.
movie ever made.
The
That
wreath
movie is
stands as further
fucking
evidence
awesome.
that
If you
patriotic
haven't seen it,
citizens who have
definitely
gathered here
check it.
today
Just
have
so
not
people
forgotten the
understand,
true
I
American
don't use
heroes,
this to, like,
those who
replace
were
my
willingly
cartridges
gave their
or stop
lives in the
collecting.
service
That's actually
of their
still
country.
really, really important to me. This is just kind of a really neat thing. Primarily, I would use it to play hacked games, as I'm mentioning here. But it does have its purposes and its advantages, and just as a novelty, this thing is really, really cool. But again, that doesn't mean it's going to replace actually going out and getting authentic cartridges, because that's just my gaming experience, and that's the way I like to do it. You may have noticed that the title screen said 1999, which is kind of cool. That means, a lot of these fan games were made and continued to be produced years
Officer of the
after
day,
system was
take
really
charge.
supported. And I always wondered back in the day what the point of these were, and I think it was so you could play them on emulators. I think that was always the goal. But now, it's kind of funny. I don't think anybody would have ever really predicted that one day you'd be running these kinds of hack games on official hardware. It's just neat to see that. But anyway, let's reset again here. Now I want to show you another thing. Now I'm going to run Super Mario Bros. 2, which I'll talk about in a moment. But I have two reasons for showing you this. One is to show you that. I don't know if you noticed that for a second, but that's actually because this is a Famicom disk drive game. Famicom disk drive is an expansion for the NES. Well, no, for the Famicom, released in Japan, that we never got over here. It played like these floppy disk-like games. And with this, you can actually run those games. That library of games will run on your NES with this flash card, which is really, really cool. Now, this game specifically, I also showed you for another reason. This game, I believe, did have a cartridge version, and this game, Super Mario Bros. 2, this version, never was released outside of Japan until the Super Nintendo, because basically it was too hard for Western audiences, or at least that's how Nintendo felt about it. So I showed you this because, one, I wanted to tell you that you can, with this thing, you can play Famicom disk drive games, but you can also play Japanese games and import games, which is really cool.
Okay, so there you have it. That's the basically the NES EverDrive, or the EverDrive N8, the full NES version. Really not a whole lot different from the EverDrive, the Famicom EverDrive N8, but yeah, it just fits better. This is really aimed more towards Western audiences, specifically those in the U.S. and Canada and Europe.
We will end our
It's not
1993
entirely
Memorial Day
region-free.
service
If you have
with the
your,
benediction by Father
10
Bradley.
chip cut inside of
We
it, which I
appreciate your
have on this
attendance and
NES.
thank you
I've done a
for
video on that
remembering.
as well. you don't have to deal with any kind of region issue. However, it's my understanding that if you haven't cut the chip, you'll have to press the reset button 5
Heavenly
times.
Father, we thank
when
you
load
once
up to
again
change
for
its
the
region
opportunity
code.
to be here
so
today.
it will work either way, but you
To
might have to
remember
take an
those
additional
who
step.
so deserve to be
I
remembered.
recommend cutting the 10
And we ask your
personally.
blessings on all of us
Other
and our
things,
families
it
and
also
friends.
works on,
and we do
the top
this
loader
in your
NES.
name.
It works
Amen.
on, I'm pretty sure, I don't have any clone systems, but I'm pretty sure it would work on those as well. I find it unlikely that it wouldn't. It would also work on Famicoms if you had the appropriate adapters to make the pins fit, but if you want that and you have a Famicom, odds are you should just get the Famicom version of this that I showed earlier. So yeah, that's about it. Just want to remind you, of course, that I got this from retrotowers.co.uk, and I double-checked, it is in fact facebook.com/retrotow. Just so you guys know, basically a gift to all you guys for watching the video. If you buy this or anything off of retrotowers.co.uk, if you use my name as a coupon code, which is AdamK, if you go ahead and do that, you get 5% off your order. No matter what it is, 5% off. You're welcome. So that's about it, guys, and as always, thanks for watching.
Figure it out. Hello, this is Adam Corlick with Figure It Out Productions. The following video is part of our Quick Shoot series. Hey guys, it's Adam here, and I have a package. This came from the UK. This is specifically from retrotowers.co.uk. And so what my plan here is, I'm going to open it up, show you what's inside, and then we'll talk about it, and then hopefully I'll go check it out and let you know what I think of it. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and open this up. Probably should have had scissors, didn't think of that. Inside, we have a cartridge. Put that down. Yeah, we have a cartridge, and see there's the business card for retrotowers.co.uk, which again is where I got this. Now, what is this? It just looks like a Super Nintendo game, right? Wrong. This is a flash drive. Basically, this is a cartridge that you can put every game for the Super Nintendo ever onto this cartridge and play them all, or at least most of them. This is comparable to like the Super UFO, which I did a video on a while ago, and the Super EverDrive. Now, why would one need this many different Super Nintendo flash cartridges? There's differences between these. Now, obviously I haven't used this new one, but my understanding is this is most likely the best one out there because it has an advantage that the others do not. Okay, so there's a lot of Super Nintendo games that use like specialized chips, things like the Super FX chip and DSP-1 chips. You know, some games took advantage of this extra hardware that they would put inside of these games. Not every game. I mean, most games never used it. So most games will run on things like the regular EverDrive and the Super UFO. And those same games, of course, work here. But there's also games, like I said, that use those special chips, and those chips are not really very easily recreated into flash cards. So a lot of them can't function on the regular chips of Super EverDrive. Super UFO had an interesting way of going around this. It has an extra slot on top for a cartridge, so if you need a game that uses like a Super FX chip, you can put one game with the Super FX chip on top, and then the cartridge, you could load up a ROM from a completely different game, and it would just use the Super FX chip in that cartridge, which is a neat idea. This one goes above and beyond that. It's actually designed to, I mean, I'm not, an engineer or anything, but there's a chip inside this that is essentially rewritable and updatable. So over time, it can actually be compatible with all these games that use really special hardware. As it stands, it actually uses a lot of them. I can't remember them offhand, obviously. It does support like DSP,
Dearborn, Michigan,
and a bunch of other ones. The ones it doesn't support, the only one I remember offhand, is the Super FX chip it doesn't support, but supposedly that's coming. It's just a matter of firmware updating it. Now on top, it has a little USB slot. That's for firmware updates. And of course, there's an SD card port. Now, it didn't come with an SD card, so I'm actually just going to use an SD card from my Super EverDrive. Now, this is where you would store all of your games. all your ROMs, and that's a really simple process. Once you get them, you just basically make a folder. It's called ROMs or games or whatever, and just put whatever you want inside of it. Organize it, by letter or something for your own benefit. But really, it's not like super picky. At least that's my understanding. And then you would just go ahead and pop it in, and that's it. Now, this has an American-style shell on it.
Or if you just care about the stabilization of our property values or seeing our property values continue
you
to
can
rise,
order these
you will vote
with
yes for our
like a Super Famicom style case or a European Super Nintendo case. I didn't really bother with that because, one, I don't have a European Super Nintendo, and I do have a Super Famicom, but in all honesty, I never use it because I just want to preserve it. Whereas I have a few Super Nintendos, so I just thought it would look better if that was the way to do it. So yeah. So now, like I said, obviously I haven't used it, so I'm gonna try it out and let you know what I think of it, see if there's any like quirks or weird things about it, and see what my recommendation is, especially compared to these other ones that I know are like the Super EverDrive is insanely reliable, and it's made by the same people,
Memorial
so
Day
it's
Parade
probably
has
gonna be really
been
good.
brought to you by
Here's hoping.
Dearborn Federal
Okay, I've
Savings
got the
Bank.
SNES all fired up here.
Brothers
So
Formalware
this
and
is assuming you've
Formal
already
Affair
created
Outlet.
a folder for ROMs and you've done all that
Fairlane
stuff.
Ford.
So this is what it
Andre
displays like. It
Appliance.
just shows whatever directories you have
Casey's Salad
except
Bar.
for the SD to
La
SNES
Penguina
directory.
Deli.
Now inside you have a
Schaefer
bunch of
Office
options.
Products.
Well,
Sam
two options. You have
Baidoon
system
Century
information,
21
which I'm showing off here,
by
which shows
Coiffure
that I
d'Elegance.
have firmware
The
version
Fairlane Club.
0.1.4.
Little Professor
and
Book
you can
Center.
also adjust the clock
And the
all
Dearborn
that,
Public
which,
Schools
obviously
Adult
is wrong,
Support
but
Kids Program.
I don't need the I don't need this cartridge to have an accurate clock. So yeah, whatever. And it includes other little stats and things that people might find useful. Anyway, enough of that. Let's go ahead and go inside the ROMs folder. Now you can see I've individually organized these things, and I highly recommend you do that because if it's anything like the previous version of the EverDrive, there's probably a file limit per folder, so it's a good way to break it down. You may have to, depending on the letter, two like S folders and two M folders. You know what I'm talking about. So I'm just gonna run a game quick here, and of course it's everybody's favorite game of all time. It's Shaq Fu. Everybody loves Shaq Fu. And now this is, of course, just an example of a normal game, not using any kind of special hardware. And as you can see, it boots very quickly, and there's nothing weird about it there. So I'm just going to go ahead and turn that off, and we'll reset. Now, if you just press reset, the exact game you already loaded will come back on. If you turn it off and turn it back on, then you're presented with this menu again. So now let's go ahead and we'll try something else out. Now, this is Super Back to the Future 2. This was only released in Japan for the Super Famicom, and this is just showing that this thing is completely region-free in that sense, so it'll play Japanese and European games on American console, and of course American games on Japanese or European consoles, so that's that. Now you'll see down there it said RGB start. I'm actually capturing this via RGB start to HDMI, so it looks insanely good, and yeah, that's how I typically do these things. Now let's go ahead and pick another game. I'm going to pick this thing. This is a new independent project called Super Mario Odyssey. This is fan-made, based on Super Mario World, but I'm only going to show you a quick look. On 100.3 really. You can go and find that game for yourself if you're excited. I want to play this because I love Super Mario World. But that's just an example of this thing's ability to play